golden rule is you never use a condom that the stripper gives you.
Yeah, you bring your own, and I can't.
Did you know that rule, Jerome? Oh, that's what y'all doing online?
Oh, no, Your Honor. I did not know nothing about that profile right there. I did not know nothing about that one.
Mr. Leonard knew companionship like that. He knew it when he hit me up.
I wasn't having children.
Well, apparently not grown up enough, because you like your fiddle tails, don't you?
Yeah, okay, Miss Three Men.
Grow up, David.
She claims a man tricked her into wanting a baby and wanting to have a family. The big question is, does anyone really get tricked into wanting a family if you don't actually want it? Anyway, that happened to be the case here. Ms. McDaniel was in court today, claiming she was tricked by Mr. Lennon into wanting to have a child with him. But as soon as she got pregnant and had her baby, he wasn't as persuasive as he was before. Mr. Lennon, in his view, said she was a gold digger, and all she wanted was his money. Let's find out who's telling the truth, shall we?
You say you were tricked into having a baby by the defendant, Mr. Lennon, but once you got pregnant, he ditched you and immediately denied he'd fathered your baby. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lennon, you say the plaintiff is nothing but a promiscuous gold digger and there is no way you're her son's biological father. You suggest she contact the multiple men she slept with during the window of conception.
As you would expect, the first question in Judge Lowen's interrogation session was how Ms. McDaniel was tricked into having a baby. The way she claimed it happened, you would think Mr. Lennon cast some kind of spell on her, trust me. She claimed he told her that he wanted to have a child that was biologically his. Apparently, he already had 2 kids that weren't his from birth, but Mr. Lennon said all that was a lie, and he met her on a dating site. From his facial expressions, trust me, this man wanted nothing to do with Ms. McDaniel's baby.
Biologically his because he have 2 that's not his, and he's the deadest because he signed a birth certificate.
You know, Your Honor, that's not true. When the simple fact is, when I met her off of a site. And from me meeting her from a site, I wanted to see what kind of person she is and see if she wanted to have a life.
He also wanted to have sex with me, Your Honor.
Honor.
He asked me for my number on the site.
Things were starting to get quite interesting in the courtroom. In Ms. McDaniel's story, her hopes were very high on finding someone whom she could have a beautiful romantic relationship with. Was that how it played out when she met Mr. Lennon? Oh, trust me, it was no romantic setting, trust me. The very first they met, the first thing they did was have sex. If you ask me, I doubt any of them were looking for a long-term relationship. The craziest part was they didn't even wait to get home before it went down. They had sex on the road. Looks like Mr. Lennon likes his women a little bit freaky.
Too, when you meet a person, they tell on their own self what they're about. When we had sex on the road, when I pulled over, we had sex on the road. Then when we got to my house...
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you meant like down the road,
No,
like a wild path. You meant literally on the road.
Oh, no, not like that. When we pulled over, we had sex on the road, off of the road. But then when we got to my house after
So
we
my
had
thing
sex,
is, sex
the
was
first
all
thing...
on his mind when he hit me up.
Here's where the questioning from Judge Lauren gets pretty intense. Both Mr. Lennon and Ms. McDaniel finally admitted to the courtroom that they had sex on the very first night, even though they weren't so proud of themselves that they did. But here comes the juicy part. Mr. Lennon initially wanted to be her boyfriend from the very start. After finding out she was 15 years older than she was, he decided to play the card of wanting to be her sugar daddy. Well, Mr. Lennon, that's not a very good move.
Boyfriend, which I quote
That's
unquote
not
my
true, Your
sugar
Honor.
daddy.
That's not true at all.
Your sugar daddy.
My sugar daddy.
Oh, no. Your Honor,
Hold on, wait.
My
What's the
sugar
age
daddy.
difference here?
I'm
What's the
42.
age difference here? 42?
Yes, Your
And you
27.
okay? So 15 years.
So a sugar daddy.
Were you
Quote,
looking?
unquote.
Were you looking for a sugar daddy?
Me, I was looking for somebody to really be my boyfriend.
Okay, let's dive into the evidence aspect of this case, shall we? The question on everyone's mind is what attracted them to each other. Trust me, the things you're about to hear will leave you speechless. It looks like Ms. McDaniel wasn't telling the whole truth after all. In a way, she was looking for a sugar daddy. She claimed she had no father figure in her life, and so she needed someone who could play both the role of a father and a boyfriend. I guess Mr. Lennon fits that description perfectly. But the bio on her dating profile was something else.
Big, beautiful woman.
So Mr. Lennon
Promise
knew.
there are no disappointments. So treat yourself to this big chocolate bunny. A chance to fulfill all your wishes and desires. I'm waiting to hear from you. Oh, that's what y'all doing online?
You couldn't really blame Mr. Lennon for his hesitation to accept the baby. He claimed in his past he had been scammed on several occasions by 2 different women who claimed he was the father of the child, but when the results were done, his heart was broken. These two just couldn't seem to agree on anything at all. One thing was for certain, though. Mr. Lennon wasn't going to gamble on the fact that the child could not be his. But Ms. McDaniel said that was all a lie.
Your mother don't want the same thing to happen with this child.
My mother
And I
do
told
not
my
want me
sister
to get
about
hurt like I did twice before.
I
Being
told my
hurt by-
sister all about it, Your Honor. Everything. I tell my sister everything.
Is this your sister here?
Yes, Your Honor.
I want to hear from you, ma'am. Please stand up to the podium. State your name for the court.
Letitia McDaniel.
Thank you for joining us, Ms. McDaniel.
There was so much commotion and confusion going on in the walls of that courtroom. It was starting to look like Mr. Lennon wasn't being completely honest with his version of the story. Ms. McDaniel's sister was in court, and when she stepped up to the stand, she had some truth bombs to drop. Trust me. Apparently, Mr. Lennon had told her in one of their conversations that he was going to take care of the baby. Confusing, right?
I even had a conversation with Mr. Lerner.
And what'd he say?
About he was going to take care of her.
No, Your Honor, I did
He was
not
gonna
say
take
that.
care
I
of
did
the
not
baby.
say that
He
to
was
that
gonna
woman.
put her and the
No, I
baby
did not say
in
that.
a
No, the only time I
house.
talked to your sister is when she was in the hospital, and that's when I was introduced to her. Y'all called me from the hospital, and then
I
you
thought-
handed her the phone.
But you did tell me that you
I
was
did
going
not
to take
tell you
care
that,
of both
sweetie.
of
I
them.
did not tell you that.
Okay.
I did not
Yes,
tell
she
you
did,
that.
Maurice.
These two had given Judge Lawrence so much headache. After so much investigation, the only way to sort out their mess was to reveal the DNA results. It's finally time to see who among these two has actually been telling the truth. Eyes on the judge, people.
Mr. Lennon, you are not the father.
Like I told you.
Plaintiffs can lie, but the DNA,
Don't lie.
it doesn't lie.
Ms. Heiser definitely didn't enjoy her marriage to her ex-husband, trust me. With the way they referred to each other in that courtroom, you could tell there were almost no happy moments in their marriage. Now Ms. Heiser referred to her husband as a deadbeat who abandoned her and his only daughter, all because he felt she was unfaithful to him. Mr. Onbe claimed the child wasn't his, and her cheating skills were top legendary. I didn't tell you these two had a bad fallout.
Sir, you say your ex-husband, Mr. Onby, is a textbook deadbeat who abandoned you and your daughter almost 20 years ago. You claim Mr. Onby has spent that time inventing outlandish excuses for denying his only daughter, but you say it all comes down to child support. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Heiser wasted no time in explaining what she meant when she referred to her ex-husband as a deadbeat. It was almost impossible to not see how disappointed she was in herself for getting married to Mr. Onbe. She claimed that since the birth of her daughter, he was never present to support her and her child in every way that a husband should. Talk about someone having so much regret that they met a person. Ms. Heiser fits the description perfectly.
Heiser, what do you mean by textbook deadbeat?
Exactly what it means, Your Honor. He's never been there for Gabrielle since birth.
Stole time with
Emotionally,
Rachel.
physically, financially, in every term a father should be. In the beginning, when I first met him, he seemed like a stand-up guy, a family man. Within the first year, we decided to get married.
Now, there are always two sides to a story, and it was time to hear from Mr. Onbe why he felt he wasn't the father of Ms. Heiser's child. When he was asked why he had doubts about being the father, the things that came out of his mouth left the entire courtroom speechless. He said one random evening, a man who he had never met before walked up to him and asked him what they were going to do about his daughter. Oh, trust me, you heard perfectly. If that happened to me, I'd definitely get a DNA test done as soon as possible.
Another man had walked up on me and asked me what we were going to do about his child.
Referring to Gabby?
Yes, ma'am.
So a man walks up to you on the street and just says, I'm the father of your wife's baby.
Basically.
Did you ever ask your wife about this?
She basically blew me off.
Ms. Heiser, do you remember this conversation?
It's the biggest lie I've ever heard, Your Honor.
Ms. Heiser was on all-out defense in the courtroom. She said that she had never heard the story of a random guy walking up to meet Mr. Onbe and asking him that question. In fact, she was just hearing that side of the story for the first time in the courtroom. Now, who among the both of them is telling the truth? Things escalated pretty quickly, and Mr. Onbe dropped another truth bomb saying, Ms. Heiser always kept 3 men around who she slept with frequently.
About this
I've never
baby?
heard of this at all, Your Honor, before today.
She keeps at least 3 men around.
You're the waste of time.
So, Ms.
find out
Heiser,
soon.
at this point, he tells you some man told me you pregnant. He says you blew him off, but you don't remember the conversation at all.
The conversation never happened, Your
So
Honor.
when you found out you were pregnant with Gabby, what did you do? You just told your husband, I'm pregnant.
According to the way she put it, Mr. Onbe was never like this. In fact, when the baby was born, he was super excited to have his own child because he felt he was incapable of having children. If he was so excited about having kids and couldn't wait to hold her daughter, where did everything fall out of place? I mean, for two people to get married, they must have at least had some level of love in their hearts, right?
So you tell him you're pregnant and he's happy. Did he express any doubt at the time?
He didn't express any doubt until about 3-4 months down the line when we had our first argument. We didn't speak for a couple of months. Then he came back again, another argument, takes off again. That was his style. David don't face anything head on, including parenthood. He runs.
I'll face anything I need to if it's mine.
Okay, David.
Judge Lauren was making no progress with both Mr. Onbe and Ms. Heiser. You could even say it felt like an interrogation session gone wrong, because all these two wanted to do was argue and argue and argue. There was no other choice left than to speak to the daughter in question and ask her how she felt about the whole situation. Guess what? She also admitted that she never felt a fatherly presence in her life.
He was never really been in my life. My 5-year-old birthday party, he showed up to it for about 10 minutes and he left, told me he was going for a toy and didn't show back up with this toy and didn't see him for years later.
So he came to your 5th birthday for 10 minutes and told you, I'm gonna go get a toy. And never came back.
Never came back.
Well, it was evidence time, and Mr. Onbe went straight to the evidence board to further explain why he couldn't trust Ms. Heiser while they were married. Looks like Ms. Heiser was no saint after all, and Mr. Onbe had his reasons for doubting the pregnancy. He was one very good detective, because the way he uncovered how his wife was cheating on him will blow your mind.
He told me what was going on, so I immediately shot out the back door, cut across the neighbors, and came over to the house, to the front door, in which was open. So I opened the door. The bedroom is maybe 40 feet from the front door.
Well, the suspense is finally over, and the hassle of who the dad of their child is about to be revealed. It's been a bumpy and funny ride with Mr. Onbe and Ms. Heiser. All eyes are on the judge as she unleashes the truth. Get ready, paternity folks!
Has been determined by this court. Mr. Onbe, you are the father. I can see you truly shocked.
Yes, ma'am.
It looks like today was the day. Being a long-term client of an exotic dancer came to bite him in the ass. Ms. Murray brought a man who she claimed has been her customer for over 10 years to court on the claims that he was the biological father of her 15-month-old baby. She wants him to own up to his baby and start taking responsibility. Mr. Lee, on the other hand, said there was no way in the world he could have fathered her child, since she entertained so many men. And all they had was a one-night stand.
You are here today to get Mr. Lee to stop denying that he fathered your 14-month-old daughter, Winter. You demand he man up and own up to his responsibility after today's DNA test. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lee, you had a one-night stand with Ms. Murray before her pregnancy, but claimed she later confirmed she was not pregnant by you. You admit to one night.
Just like the previous case, she referred to Mr. Lee as a deadbeat. She claimed he had not done anything for her baby, and she had no idea why he was denying fathering her child. In Mr. Lee's defense, he claimed to already have 6 kids whom he provided for without any issues. She was only trying to put the baby on him because she knew he was a good guy. For some reason, the courtroom was not buying his story, and so was the judge.
Not done anything for Winter.
That's ludicrous. I have 6 other kids.
Exactly.
And I am not the father of her baby. She wants this because she's trying to pin this baby on me because she know I'm a good guy and I'm a good father.
You're not a good anything. You're a deadbeat. You barely take care of them 6 kids that you got. So.
And Winter's 15 months, and you're saying that Mr. Lee hasn't done anything for?
He has not done nothing.
Well, you can trust Judge Lauren to dive straight into the interrogative aspect of the case. The whole courtroom was looking forward to this aspect because they wanted to know how Mr. Lee and Ms. Murray found themselves in such a funny situation. The skeleton started to pop out of the closet and the truth started to drop bit by bit. Ms. Murray said she was a very good dancer for Mr. Lee. Hearing that, I'm sure you see why no one wants to believe his side of the story.
I met Mr. Lee at the club. I used to be a dancer, and he was my customer for about 10 years. So that's really how I met him. He was infatuated with showbiz. But once he got to know Demiki, he did not like me, and he's taking it out on his innocent child.
But he was your customer for 10 years.
Them lies. Them lies.
Mr. Lee, tell me about this woman you fell for. Was it?
Things could only get more intense with these two. Both of them were very good at one thing, and that was calling each other lairs. Oh, trust me, they knew how to play that game really well. Now Mr. Lee admitted that he broke what he would like to call the golden rule. Trust me, your jaws are going to drop when you find out what his golden rule is. It will leave you speechless, just as everyone in the courtroom was left speechless.
You know, I broke the golden rule,
You broke the what?
The golden rule.
The golden rule?
Yes.
What's the golden rule?
You never use the stripper's condom. Never.
It was not mine, Fabian. It was yours.
Oh, the golden rule is
Yeah.
you never use a condom that the stripper gives you.
Yeah, you bring your own, and I
Did
can't.
you know that rule, Jerome?
No, but
Here's where the cat jumps out of the box. If you remember, the initial story was that they only had sex once because it was a one-night stand. Well, guess what? The story changed all right. Now they were saying they had sex again, and this time it was without a condom. Oh, trust me, it was really hard getting the truth from these two.
I had sex with her unprotectedly the second time because she had already told me she was already pregnant. So I'm like, you can't get pregnant twice. I'm out the clear, you know.
What
Now,
do you
how I'm gonna be pregnant after the first? It was like 3 weeks later. So how I'm gonna be pregnant after the first
second time.
Wait, the text messages have already said that she told you she wasn't pregnant.
Exactly.
No, but this was like afterwards. This was after.
Talk about a case having some intense investigations. This was certainly one of those kind of cases. Now the truth bomb keeps coming, and guess what? There was another man in the mix. Ms. Murray admitted that she wasn't intimate with only Mr. Lee, but another man too. Well, that's definitely not surprising if you ask me.
Probably like a week before that.
So around the third week
Probably.
in March. So wait, I want to take a look at a calendar so we can outline this. The blue indicates the day you had sex with Mr. Lee, March 30th. The green outlines when you had sex with the other man, which was March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So Ms. Murray, is this calendar correct?
The tension was palpable, but no worries cause the moment of truth was here. Time to spill the beans on whether Mr. Lee is the father of her baby or not. All eyes were on the judge as she got ready to give the final verdict.
Mr. Lee, you are the father.
Baby like to say, whoop whoop. That baby. Look at her. She's beautiful. She looks just like you, baby. Really?
He would be out too. You had him with the kids. So he had him another girl. I went and got me 4 other guys.
I see why you wore your little suit too now.
ain't nothing. No, this is my cousin.
That she was with someone else when she was with you.
He was not the only man that I had slept with.
Ask her who your daddy really is.
I don't believe that you're my father. I don't want you to be my father.
So you're pregnant, but your husband's somewhere else.
This is not your regular case. Mrs. Miller and her daughter, Shanna Garnett, brought Mr. Langston to court today. They are so keen to prove that he's the father of Miss Garnett after 36 years. Both sides stand firm on their case and demand an apology from the other party for being lied to. Regardless, the potential father and daughter have a warm relationship, with Miss Garnett calling him her best friend. Mr. Langston, however, ripped the bandage right off a few months ago and let her know that he is not her real father via text.
Well, this started with a text.
So after almost 2 years of reaching out to my father after visiting him in 2015, I was pleading to get him to respond. He wasn't responding, and he finally responded with this message.
So I think your mother blanked me and you about your birth father being me. She was missing around when you were born.
They got distant for about 2 years, and Mr. Langston had something to say about that, stating the reason why they fell apart.
So why were you estranged for 2 years? What happened?
We live in different states, Your Honor, but we had always been close. I went to visit him in Chicago for a funeral. It was by his side for one of our family members, and everything was great. But when I returned back home, I don't know what happened. He just cut off communication.
Well, I wasn't talking to her like I normally do.
Why?
This is where we see that father and daughter are so beautifully close. Though he did break the news to her so harshly, they really do love one another, it would seem.
Miss Garnett, you grew up as a daddy's girl. You say he's your best friend.
He's always been my dad. I've always known him to be my dad. When I became an adult, around 21 years old, that's when we started really becoming close. 2 years ago, when I was at the funeral with him, he had brought up for the very first time that he thought I may not have been his daughter, which blew my mind. And he went on and on about him and my mother's past.
All of this conviction on the side of Mr. Langston raises the question, how is he so sure that Miss Garnett isn't his? What pushed him to paternity court and got him to hurt his little girl from all these years back? This is where he really spills the tea.
My auntie downstairs let me in. I walked upstairs. I didn't knock on the door. I looked in. I see this guy sitting on the couch with her, like he running this game to get up on something. I knocked on the door. I said, what's going on? Ain't nothing, no, this is my cousin. I said, hey, you can get out of here, cousin. You can leave. And, but this, I don't believe it.
So you believe that she was with someone else when she was with you?
Seems like there's more going on than was let on. Suspicion is flying around about Mrs. Miller sleeping around, and this is what she has to say about it.
So, Ms. Miller, who is this cousin?
He was not my cousin. He was my sister's husband's cousin, and he was just a family friend as well.
Was he someone you were intimate with?
No, never.
Was he at the house trying to talk to you, see if you have a
He
relationship?
did like me, but there was no way that I wasn't interested in him, and I made that known to him all the time.
Now, things are getting spicy. The spotlight is no longer on the father-daughter relationship and is now shining ever so brightly on the mother. However, Mrs. Miller is not having any of it. She stands her ground, and the courtroom is hot like an oven top.
She immediately told me, because I pressured her, did you do anything with him? She kept saying no. Then she came around. Okay, I'll tell you the truth. Yeah, I gave him some because he kept knocking on the door back. So I finally gave in and gave him some.
Who you getting me mixed up with? I'm serious.
Man,
Who are you getting me mixed up with?
Don't play that.
I'm serious.
You did that. You
I
told
don't
me
know
that.
who you're
I
talking
swear
about.
on my dad.
Mr. Langston is not having any of it either. He backs his story up with more information and paints Mrs. Miller as a completely dishonest person.
And I said, yeah, what are you trying to do? He was trying to get some. I said, yeah, did you give him some? No, I didn't give him none. I said, hey, you know how I am. If you did it, you did it. No, I didn't do it. I said, come on, you might well if you did it. Yeah, I gave him some. He knocking on the door. He kept on bagging and bagging. I finally gave him some.
So wait.
Lord is my witness.
So, Miss Miller, you don't remember this conversation?
Fire on Mrs. Miller doesn't cease, as Mr. Langston claims that he can't remember even getting her pregnant in the first place. This gets a reaction from the court.
Ms. Miller, when you got pregnant, you knew he was the biological father?
I knew he was he was the only one I was sleeping with.
He knew, didn't he?
He the one told me he told me upon conceiving that I was pregnant.
Really?
I don't recall
Well, I
that.
do. I do.
I just don't recall.
I don't know how you can forget that. We talked
I
about it
forget
in
a lot of things.
2001.
Okay.
Of course, it's suspicious that he'd be holding all of this back for so long. If he really thought she wasn't his, why wait 36 years to talk about it?
I paid child support. Not only 18 years, I paid it 20 years.
But when
they
did you
started
start?
sending me checks back for overpayment, $1,700, $800, $1,000, $500.
So how come you didn't take that $100,000, $150,000 and pay for a DNA test when before I turned 36 years
I'll
old?
tell you,
Miss Garrett has an emotional outburst about how hurt she was by her supposed father breaking the news to her and about how they have so much in common. A grand plot twist was revealed after Miss Garnett posted on Facebook. She put up a picture of herself and Mr. Langston's father, her supposed grandfather, side by side, and the semblance is quite uncanny. Additionally, we get to see the depth of Mr. Langston's trust issues and a whole lot of background to this story. If he spilled the tea before, he definitely dropped the kettle now.
And do you see the resemblance to your father?
be honestly, I do. But there's a thing right here. My father put me out. She was helping me take care of my mama. She's a good person. I ain't gonna take that from her. My father put me out because she said, I don't like how you treating her. So she was there in the house with my father. So
what are you trying to say?
What are you trying to say? What I'm trying to say. I don't know.
So what? Mr. Langston and Miss Garrett are supposedly half-siblings now? After a lot of ruckus, the results are revealed, and oh boy, is it a huge shock.
Mr. Langston, you are not the father.
Are not the father?
He is not her biological father.
Now don't look at me. Ask her who your daddy really is. I'm gonna love you. Don't do that. You my baby.
Next up is a court case for the books. Miss Capples, the plaintiff, stands before the court with her 15-year-old son, Jason. Miss Capples calls out Mr. Harris to be the father of her son. This case is so chaotic, even the court had a good laugh from their introduction.
Mr. Harris started talking. We used to go to high school together.
I didn't go to high school with her.
And we were Facebook friends. Mr. Harris, I made him my man crush Monday. He's a good guy. Hardworking, good father. We messaged back and forth on Facebook for a while. After that, we exchanged numbers. And after that, we started hanging out, getting up, and it just kind of went from there.
She came with her son's birth certificate and was so intent on getting it signed by Mr. Harris in front of his girlfriend, Miss Mayfield. In the middle of all this, it seems like Miss Capples is more interested in rubbing their old fling in the face of Mr. Harris's girlfriend. Miss Mayfield had her thoughts on the blast from the past.
Are you now with Miss Mayfield in a relationship?
Ma'am, that's when I had got with her in a relationship.
She was around 5 months.
She got jealous of what me and...
What is there to be jealous about? I don't care about you guys being together.
Miss Mayfield, Miss Mayfield.
Yes,
So go
ma'am.
ahead.
Sit down.
Well, basically, when we started dating,
He told me about the situation and was like, you know, I was talking to some girl. I may have a possible baby with her, you know, whatever. So I, as a woman, I just ended up accepting that.
Miss Capples definitely came prepared for a proper throwdown. She presented the court with Jayceon's window of conception straight from the doctor's office. As expected, it proved she was together with Mr. Harris for 9 months up till a few weeks after Jayceon was conceived. However, when asked a question, unfortunately for Mr. Harris, he cast a net for himself.
All right, Mr. Harris, do you agree you were intimate with Miss Capples in the month of April?
I'm not sure, you know. I'm not sure.
You don't know.
I don't know.
You don't remember the actual month.
Oh, yeah.
So it could be true or not.
It could be true.
So it could be. All right.
Funny guy.
All right. Thank you so much for that presentation. So, Mr. Harris, if you don't remember.
Oh, what a shocker. That's not the end of it. It gets wilder. Mr. Harris went deeper into the little mess.
When he was,
He don't even know your real name.
You were.
So how was that?
You were.
laid up with
Everybody
somebody, you
thinks
don't
my
even
name
know
is
your
Muffin. What are you talking about?
Wait a minute. Wait. Who didn't know whose real name?
I didn't know her real name.
Mr. Harris, you were sleeping with this woman for all these months and you didn't even know her name?
Not her real name.
Well, I saw something about this in my court papers and I really couldn't believe it. Jerome?
You can bet that the judge had something to say about this web of irresponsible behavior.
When we contacted Mr. Harris and told him that Ms. Shatera Capples summoned him for a DNA test, he said, I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I said, Muffin?
That is correct.
I'm pretty sure I told him my name. Would you remember Shantira or would you remember Muffin? Would I go by around town?
If you having sex for that many months with the same person without using any protection, you gotta at least know their name.
Mr. Harris was persistent. He stood his ground, saying that everyone around him on social media kept telling him that Jayceon isn't his son. Imagine being in this man's shoes. In a situation of being the last to find out, just that, this time, it's about your own supposed baby. As it turns out, he's been doubting the whole thing since day one.
Did he get to come to the delivery room?
He didn't have a ride, Your Honor.
Well, I was at work.
He didn't have a ride?
Have a ride
No,
to the
I was at the
hospital.
work when she delivered the baby. The next morning, I came up there. And
You did?
When I looked at him, he didn't look like me at all.
No, he does
and
not.
I had my doubt. I had been had my doubts, but like I say, everybody around town says that she goes around saying it's another guy's baby.
Would you look at that? Miss Capples is having none of it, though. The argument ensues.
If I'm telling you that I'm in labor,
well, she called my
2 hours
she
before
did call
time,
my cell phone.
and my friend
I
had my
texted back. I
cell
didn't know
phone, and she was
actually
texting
having
him
the
the
baby.
whole time like, she's in labor.
So by the time he never showed, you were angry, and so then you didn't.
I wasn't worried about that. Him signing the birth certificate at that point. You want to act like you ain't the daddy? We can.
But
act
you
like
are
that.
here today saying now he has to sign it in front of his girlfriend.
Oh boy, what a case. In addition to all of this, Miss Mayfield and Miss Capples keep bickering and throwing side comments in court.
I did go
And
through
then
your
cut
phone.
you off, and then
Yes,
you
I
got
did.
salty.
Cut me off.
Yeah, that's
Please.
the time y'all stopped talking.
Girl,
I know,
please.
boo. I know the whole story. It's
I'm sure
nothing
you do
new.
because you were there, right? I was already pregnant, and I didn't even know I was pregnant.
That's nasty.
Hold on now. Let's.
I don't
That's the
go
only
out.
reason.
What are you
Because you
talking
could easily
about?
give in to him when he did. He don't
He
have
would
to
be
drive
out
somewhere.
too. You
don't
at
have
home
to.
with the kids. What you
Right.
talking
No,
about?
he don't.
He
No,
already-
he
All right, one
You
at
at
a
home with
time.
the kids.
One at a time, ladies.
After raining fire on Miss Capples, Miss Mayfield got her own share of the cake from the judge.
There's no nothing. So it's easy to blame Miss Capples, but you also have to look at your man. Because he
I wasn't with it. He
participated.
wasn't my man at the time.
It doesn't matter. It's your man now.
I was actually there in the
I hope he
beginning,
is his dad.
like buying Pampers and clothes and
hope he
stuff.
is.
But like I said, Miss Capples had a problem. She disappeared for months. No calls, no texts.
Okay, so this is another interesting fact.
With the new turn of events, it would seem like Miss Capples was holding out on us. She went on to the meat of the story. She was strongly convinced that Miss Mayfield was stalking her. What a plot twist. Here is what she had to say.
Going surgery, getting ready to have my tubes tied.
That
and
is my
she's-
job.
She worked.
That is my
Did
job.
you say, what's your Honor, as a woman, I would not want to be in a room with a woman that's having my boyfriend's baby.
Okay, so you was a patient.
No,
You have
that's a little too much.
But wait a minute, Miss Capples. She does. You work at the hospital, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then that was where they told you your station or where you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
You were
We have our
assigned to
surgery
that.
today. We got our stuff to do. Yes, ma'am.
Now, what? She is a staff at the hospital? Was she attending to Miss Capples on purpose? Oh boy, such questions to have. Regardless of all of this, the results are in, and you wouldn't believe what they are. With all the drama, what happens after the results are in is the most shocking thing ever. Who would have thought? The last thing to expect from this case is an apology from any party, really.
Mr. Harris, you are not the father.
Thank you.
You didn't sleep with no one else. Ms.
I
Caples?
would like to publicly apologize to Mr. Harris. I honestly thought that it was yours. We messed around. We were intimate a lot, and you know we were. It was a very big possibility that it was yours.
If you think you've seen drama in court, I can assure you that you have not seen anything yet. Usually, it takes 2 parents to biologically make a baby, right? Well, there are at least 3 parents on the table here. Mrs. Shaw, her daughter Kiona, and LeBron Matthews are in court for completely different things. Mrs. Shaw is here because she hopes Matthews is not Kiona's father. Kiona is here because she hopes Matthews is her father. Matthew is here because, oh well, he just got a new suit.
After the way that things went with him.
I see why you wore your little suit too now, Mr. Matthews. See? I said he's real ready for court, ain't he? Go ahead. What are you about to say, Miss Shaw?
Oh God, is the one that's been consistent.
In these court cases, we hear situations about baby mamas, exes being in court together, but this time it's way different. The relationship between these 2 people that brought about Kiona is wilder than anything you've thought about, trust me.
I looked at him, I turned around and I looked at his wife. And
did somebody say wife?
Yeah, they both were married.
So you, and you had a husband?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so you came to court with your wife?
Correct.
No wonder you said you never had sex with this woman. Okay. And you had a husband?
Yes.
All right. So you 2 were basically cheating on your spouses with one another.
What a wild turn of events. It absolutely sounds like a plot from a TV show. Like that was not enough. Matthews explains the entire relationship further.
Having fun. We both was young, and when she told me she was pregnant, I was too busy trying to enjoy myself because I wasn't trying to be with no one woman. I already had a wife.
So the point is, when you stood in the courtroom with your wife and you said you never slept with Miss Shaw and you knew you weren't telling the truth, was that because you were scared to lose your wife, or is that because you did not want to be bothered with a child?
A little bit of both.
With so many men in her life growing up, Kiona felt like she never had a father. Regardless, this one thing constantly made her sad and needy of fatherly love growing up. She described it perfectly here.
I remember it being really uncomfortable, honestly. I felt like I was the stepchild. Like, the way that he was with his other kids, he wasn't like that with me. So I wanted him to feel the way he felt about his other kids about me.
I did, but I wasn't really there either. If I wasn't at work, I was ripping and running.
So, Miss Shaw, I want to know, from that point, you decided, I'm not even going to be bothered with...
Speaking of the men in Kiona's life growing up, her mother, Mrs. Shaw, did not hold back. She kept them coming.
Or did you say that because you knew you had a paternity doubt, but you just weren't going to be bothered with him because he lied?
He was not the only man that I had slept with.
Were you honest about that to Miss Thompson, your daughter?
Yes, she's known all her life.
So why did you open the case against Mr. Matthews if you always knew that there was another possibility?
Because when my daughter would go to his house...
It seems like these 2 go way back in time. Matthews goes on about everything that happened during their relationship and how he reacted to her being pregnant for him. It's a no-brainer they even have a baby in the first place, really.
Because when she first told me that I was the dad, I didn't want to believe it because I was doing my own things. But every time I turned around, I was bringing you fish sandwiches when you was pregnant. Every time you turn around, you was like, babe, I'm hungry. And at the time, you had a husband, and here it is. Wait a minute, okay, but you had threw him out.
Yeah.
But then when I came over there, you had me rubbing your stomach and all that good stuff.
I had you rubbing my stomach.
And yes, you did. And here it is, talking about bring me a fish sandwich over to the house.
If you think that's interesting, you will not see this coming. How exactly did a married man and a married woman have a baby for one another from an external party? Oh boy.
Oh, you remember that. But wait, I want to understand this. So you're pregnant, but your husband's somewhere else.
Right. Because that's how that came
your
about.
lover's coming over to feed you some fish sandwiches.
Because my husband was still in and out at the same time when I got pregnant. But that 6 months, I had threw him out of the house. So he had him another girl. I went and got me 4 other guys.
Oh.
And was doing my thing. And that's what I did. It was a choice, but I was young and...
Oh boy, what a turn of events. She was not just cheating on her husband with one man, but 5 different men. After Kiona was born, it appears that Matthews lost his sweet spirit. Several scenarios point to him not doing up to the bare minimum. Inasmuch as the paternity of the little girl was uncertain, there was so much more to have done better.
The last time you saw Mr. Matthews?
I was a junior in high school. So it's been about 14 years.
Oh my goodness. So, Mr. Matthews, your testimony is true. You've been a pretty bad dad.
Yeah, I was a terrible father.
And that's why you're here, to right your wrongs.
Right, that's correct. I enjoyed my life,
Amen.
You're right. I mean, let's be honest.
Yes.
It's in the context of what your enjoyment was.
Right.
There's just too much drama unraveled in court with this case. However, taking the spotlight away from Matthews and to Mrs. Shaw's now late husband, Mr. Brooks, he announced that Kiona wasn't his, with just one gaze at her when she was born.
My grandmother, went over there and seen the baby because Miss Shaw was living at the time. Rumors fly around. First, my grandmother told my mother, then my mother told me, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna sit back there and say yes.
What did they say?
She said, well, the baby look like you. I said, no, it don't. I'm not gonna sit back because I didn't want my wife to know. Well, my mother told my wife.
Oh!
What a circus that really must have been. The DNA tests finally came in. Mrs. Shaw seems really averse to the thought of Matthews being the father of her daughter and does not mind showing it. Matthews simply wants to redeem himself as a good father after all these years and seems interested in being a part of Kiona's life. What a shock the results caused.
Mr. Brooks is not her father. What are you feeling in this moment, Miss Shaw?
And I know Mr. Brooks would.
Mr. Matthews, you are not the father. I'm so sorry, Kiana.
I love her.
As the last on the list, we have one of the most emotionally chaotic cases. The father, or the potential father, is rather not happy to be here. Right from the case introduction, McGreer is shaky and almost in tears. Though Amia is supposedly born from a summer affair from 20 years back, he loves her so much and is here to prove that he is indeed her biological father. Amia, on the other hand, is having none of this.
I'm doing this because I love her. And I really want her to know, I really apologize for the times that I wasn't there and couldn't be the dad that I really wanted to be.
I don't believe that you're my father. I don't want you to be my father.
You don't want him to be your father?
No. He just was never there as a father. He popped in and out of my life, over the years.
Were you in and out of her life, sir?
Yes.
Amia has her own share of expressed feelings as she emotionally told the court what life was like without her father completely present in her life. And oh my, what a description.
Tell the court what it was like growing up without the man you were told was your biological father.
Well, there would be times where I would ask for him and he was nowhere to be found. There were times at school where they had father-daughter dances. He was nowhere. Everybody else had their father. Why couldn't I have mine?
Even at 20 years old, those are still memories you carry.
McGreer tried to get words in. He tried to plead his case, but Amia was too broken to listen. It's really interesting that hurt people have all the power to hurt people this way.
So look at them days when I wasn't there. I'm in one state, you in another state.
It doesn't matter. If you really thought that you was my father, you would have made a way to be there. No matter what you went through, you was never there.
Well.
And then you want to come in and out of my life 5 years at a time. You want to come in my life when I'm 19 and try to be a dad. It's not gonna work like that.
Essentially, Amia explained with so much pain that he skipped 6 to 7 years of her life at intervals, and that does not give him the right to suddenly want to show up right now.
Still should have been there. It doesn't matter.
I understand how you feel.
No, you don't.
Oh, I understand how you feel.
No, you don't. Because if you did, you would have made an effort to be there no matter what.
But I did make efforts to be there with you.
But you bounced in and out of my life.
But when I could, I did.
It does not matter. You should have been the father.
At the end of the day,
you should have been a father.
I'm still your dad.
McGreer, still lost for words, kept saying repeatedly that his lifestyle did not permit him to be the father he was meant to be. Away from the father and daughter for a minute, we get to understand the relationship between the mother, Ms. Wade, and the potential father. They had a summer affair, broke up, and she started dating another man about 2 weeks later. Fast forward to the father and daughter's first meeting, Amia was already 2.5 months old. She continues with this tasty ultimatum.
Did you tell Mr. McGreer you were pregnant when you found out?
He wasn't there during the pregnancy. By the time he got back in touch with me and came back down to Greenwood, I had already had Amia. Amia was about 2.5 months old the first time he actually seen her. We tried to work it out then, but things just didn't work out, and I actually gave him an ultimatum. I actually told him, it's either me and your daughter, or it's your lifestyle.
If you thought Amia was done talking about her hurt, oh boy, are you wrong. She recalled memories from her childhood that hurt her the most.
He made so many promises that he didn't keep. When I was 13, promised to get me a whole new wardrobe of clothes for school. I had to go to school with the same clothes I put last year, and that resulted into me being bullied all high school. So as a result, I think that was his fault. There were times where little things like the bookmobile came around. I wanted a book called My Dad for $10, didn't get it.
Oh boy, isn't that the wildest thing? As it would turn out, there are other kids. Wait for it.
Do you hear her when she's speaking, Mr. McGreer?
Yes. Actually, Mia actually got more time than any of my other kids, except for the newborns that I have.
But Ms. Wade, I think she feels a level of envy because you are so focused on raising those children, and she felt like, well, if you could get focused on raising these children, why couldn't you get focused on raising me?
Newborns. It keeps getting wilder. Amia goes on to narrate how there was another father figure in her life since she was about 11 years old, and it seems like he was everything she ever dreamed of.
He would just come around and speak to me, you know, give me a little change, like pocket full of change. He said that he could be my father, and that's when he automatically introduced me to like 6 of his other kids. And after that, I spent more time with them. He's been taking care of me ever since that age. He has been there for my prom days. He spent time with me and his other children. He took us to the zoo. He like spent quality time.
After Miss Wade was asked about this perfect father, she revealed that it was the person that she got into a relationship with after her little summer fling 20 years ago. What an interesting turn of events. As everything was getting wrapped up, McGreer spoke to his potential daughter about their reality.
And if you allow me, there'll be no more broken promises. There'll be no more broken promises. I don't like to make promises that I can't keep. That hurts me even more not to be able to come through when I say that. You know, that takes a lot. You know, I let my own down. And I let myself down even more because where I'm at today is for me. It's for me.
What a beautiful outburst of emotion. Such raw genuinity that can't possibly be faked. To wrap all this up, the results are finally in. You did not see these reactions coming.
Are not the father. I'm so sorry.
Like I said, the broken promises won't be broken. And this doesn't change what I feel for you.
Even though you're not my father, I will allow you to be that.
She let him be her father, huh? Isn't that something? Judge Lake had the perfect words to conclude the case.
I know that was not what you expected to hear. Even though you came here saying you had the information that suggested someone else was your biological father. But Mr. McGreer, I want you to keep loving that arm you got around her, just like that. I can see how much you've grown.
That's okay. That's okay. Let's go.
When did she tell you this, Miss Moffat?
2 years ago. But I just want to get this over with.
Has been determined by this court. Mr. Johnson, you are...
This narrative encompasses a complex web of relationships involving 2 boyfriends, a child, and significant turmoil. Miss Harris finds herself caught between her current partner, Mr. Murray, and her former partner, Mr. Donaldson, both of whom may be the father of her daughter, Anya. The primary objective is to determine the true paternity, but this is merely the onset of a much more tumultuous situation.
Ms. Harris, you have been caught in a love triangle. There are 2 men in court today claiming to have fathered your 18-month-old daughter, Anaya. Your current boyfriend, the plaintiff, Mr. Murray, and the defendant, your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Donaldson.
Miss Harris recounts how her relationship with Mr. Donaldson deteriorated rapidly following her pregnancy. He expressed doubts about her fidelity and subsequently became involved with another woman, neglecting his responsibilities during the pregnancy. Just when it seemed the turmoil had subsided, his family intervened, complicating matters further.
My understanding, we was dating. But then when I got pregnant, he told me he had feelings for another girl. He told me that he didn't want to be with me. So I was basically alone during my pregnancy. He was there during the baby shower. He came to the hospital with his mom when I had her.
So wait, you're dating Mr. Donaldson, you're in a relationship. You all are boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah, we were.
Initially, Mr. Donaldson's mother was enthusiastic about becoming a grandmother. However, her attitude shifted upon seeing Mr. Murray with the baby. This led to the family distancing themselves, leaving Miss Harris to navigate the challenges alone. The situation escalates when Mr. Murray becomes entangled in this chaotic scenario.
I did not find out about it until she was about 5 months, maybe. When he told me about it, I accepted that he was, because that's what Chastity stated, that he was the dad.
At what point, Mr. Donaldson, did you say, Mom, I have something I have to tell you?
I didn't even tell her, honestly. I told my father, and my father told her.
That works too when you're scared to tell Mom.
Mr. Murray learned of his potential fatherhood through a message from Mr. Donaldson, who claimed they had used protection, a statement Miss Harris contests. Despite the uncertainty, Mr. Murray took on a paternal role when Anya was 3 months old. The situation became even more convoluted when Miss Harris mentioned a threesome, leading to confusion regarding paternity.
So, Mr. Murray, Why do you believe you could be the biological father of this child?
One day I was on Facebook and I got a message. Jalen, he told me that the baby could possibly be mine.
Telling you that the baby could possibly be yours?
Yeah, I need to get a DNA test.
You sent him that message, Mr. Donaldson?
I don't recall. I'm not gonna say yes, I'm not gonna say no.
Miss Harris suggests that the timeline aligns with Mr. Donaldson being the father, yet she acknowledges her involvement with Mr. Murray as well. The threesome in December adds another layer of complexity, as no one can recall who used protection. Consequently, the court is left to untangle this intricate situation, resembling a misguided soap opera.
You said your doctor told you your date of conception was around February the 10th.
Yes.
Anaya was born on October 21st, when you were intimate with Mr. Donaldson.
Beginning of February and the end of February, and then we stopped.
So the beginning of January, around here, the beginning of February with Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
The DNA results are now available.
By this court. Mr. Murray, you are not the father.
That's okay. That's okay. That's still your baby.
This situation unfolds like a chaotic film, lacking in heroes and heavy on drama. Miss Narissa Moffett is seeking a paternity test to determine if Mr. Johnson is indeed her biological father. 2 years prior, a man contacted her via Facebook, claiming to be her real father. Mr. Johnson's response was one of disbelief, attributing the confusion to Narissa's mother, who he feels complicated matters in the past. Prepare for an even more tumultuous ride ahead.
Ms. Moffett, you always believed the defendant was your dad until 2 years ago when you received a message from a man claiming to be your biological father. You are tired of the confusion and are petitioning the court for a paternity test to prove the defendant is your dad.
Defendant is identified as Narissa's father when she receives an unexpected Facebook message from a man asserting his paternity, accompanied by a baby photo. Confused, she reaches out to him, but rather than providing clarity, the conversation intensifies her quest for answers. The unfolding drama is just
2
beginning.
years ago, he inboxed me on Facebook, was saying that I'm his child, and when I'm looking like, I don't know. And then he had sent me a picture of me when I was like, he was saying that I'm his child and I have 2 other siblings.
I can see you're still shocked.
Yeah.
The message reads, "Hi, this is Lawrence Saunders. Call me because you is my daughter and I've been looking for you."
Mr. Johnson expresses significant skepticism, noting that 2 other men were present during Miss Moffat's pregnancy. Their relationship was shrouded in secrecy, reminiscent of teenage escapades. The atmosphere is charged with uncertainty as the question of paternity looms large and tensions are rising.
Me and 2 more other guys was, at the time was dealing with Miss Moffett. I just had doubts that I was her biological father at the time when she was little. I didn't know. I really didn't. I didn't know if I was the father or not, so.
Miss Moffett discloses that she had intimate relations with both Mr. Johnson and Mr. Saunders on the same day, leaving the possibility open for either man to be Narissa's father. She had always believed Mr. Johnson to be the more suitable candidate. Confusion reigns, particularly in the courtroom, as they prepare to hear even more astonishing revelations.
I wasn't sure who was the father because, see, Mr. Johnson, and at that time, Mr. Johnson was at work, so I stayed around till he get off work. I had went to one of my friend houses named Mr. Saunders, which I was dating. Basically, I ended up having sex with him that day and Mr. Johnson at the same time. So that's why I'm not sure.
Miss Moffett confesses that she concealed the existence of 2 potential fathers from Narissa throughout her life. Narissa only learned the truth 3 years ago and is understandably distressed. Her mother claims she aimed to protect her, but the damage has already been done, and the situation is poised to become even more complicated.
But Narissa testified that it was just 2 years ago that she was told that there was another possibility. But you didn't tell your daughter.
No, Your Honor.
But you're not telling your daughter that 2 men could possibly be the father.
I told her, that it could be a possibility.
When did she tell you this, Miss Moffett?
2 years ago. But I just want to get this over with.
When Narissa fell seriously ill, she called for Mr. Johnson, who stayed by her side for 3 nights, while Mr. Saunders, the other potential father, was absent. This scenario resembles a soap opera, captivating everyone in the courtroom with its unfolding drama.
I stayed out of it until Rissa got real sick. Went to the hospital and spent time with her. I said to myself,
man, this child is laying up here fighting for her life, really who her father was, and she said she wanted her father there. And he told me, he said, Ron, you need to get to Indiana as soon as possible. We don't know if risk is going to be much around here much more longer.
The moment that everyone has been anticipating is finally at hand.
Johnson, you are her father.
Judge Lake introduces a case involving a mother suing her son for $55,000 in unpaid rent. She argues that he needs to mature, while he contends that she treats him like a servant. This promises to be an intense session her son of laziness, to which he retaliates by claiming she makes him do all the chores. Their verbal sparring is sharper than a comedy roast, prompting Judge Lake to intervene with her straightforward demeanor.
My son is lazy. I'm your mother. I try to do the best that I can for you. You cannot just want to lay around, not want to do anything, not want to help me, take care of the household or help me pay any bills. You cannot talk to me like I'm one of your friends in the street.
How you say it, but she's the total last person that should even be saying something like that.
After a
goes to her hand and she watches what she wants to watch. Ruling is in.
Miss Puyer expresses concern that her son may ruin his life as she did, though her approach is quite severe. Tensions rise as the discussed sister, Natasha, intensifies the situation by criticizing her nephew's behavior and blaming his girlfriend. The atmosphere is chaotic, especially with judgments being made based on soul. However, the family remains skeptical, leading to a show me the receipts moment as tensions escalate.
I found out I was pregnant through the doctor's office. I took 48 pregnancy tests.
48?
No, it didn't come up in my urine. That's how, that is.
Stand here, you're very strong, you're opinionated, I can do this, I got my own life. That's not what a strong woman does. And I want to understand that. If you thought Mr. Jones was cheating.
I ain't thought I knew.
So you knew he was cheating.
If he was pregnant, I would have said his baby ain't mine.
I did have sex with him, and I told you that it was way before your time.
So you admit, Ms. Rainey, that there was another guy.
This whole family hit me up on social.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
What?
I'm talking about harassing the hell out.
He would be looking at me, and I'd turn and look, and yeah, there he goes, staring at me again.
Look at you, you're beautiful.
Miss Rainey has come to court to sue Mr. Matthews for making damaging accusations and for alleged child neglect. She stands firm, determined to prove her side of the story and defend her role as a responsible mother.
Ms. Rainey, you are here today requesting 2 paternity tests and suing the man you say is the father of your children. You admit that you slept with one other man during the time of conception, but you argue that was only because Mr. Matthews refused to accept his responsibility.
Mr. Matthews, on the other hand, claims that Miss Rainey isn't as innocent as she pretends to be. He seems fully prepared to bring his own truths to light, no matter how messy things get.
Mr. Matthews, in your statement, you claim you have every reason to doubt you are the father of Ms. Rainey's children. You say she is known to be promiscuous and even named her son after another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say you are confident the children are not yours, and that will be proven when today's DNA results are revealed.
Yes, Your Honor.
As the trial begins, the courtroom moves through the usual formalities and introductions. Both parties are clearly tense, and the atmosphere is charged with anticipation.
Ms. Rainey, why did you name your son after another man?
He told me to.
Yeah,
He told you to.
And the reason is, when I found out I was pregnant, I told him and the other person that it was between both of them.
You weren't sleeping with anybody else during the time of conception.
I slept with him and Rondell.
Mr. Matthews wastes no time making it known that he won't be going easy on Miss Rainey. His frustration is evident, especially as he refers to her as the baby's mama, with a tone that hints at resentment.
I have to say that it's not possible that it can only be between me and one other person. She is known to have family trees.
He makes a pointed remark about her naming the child Sully, suggesting there's a deeper meaning behind the name. To him, it's more than just a name, it's a message.
You try to get me an ultimatum.
So
like,
what you're saying
if you don't marry me, then I'm gonna marry him. I'm like, well, you need to be marrying him and marrying him, because I'm not
to marry
going
me,
to.
but you always chose not to because you was worried about what other people say.
Miss Rainey admits that she did cheat during the relationship, but she's firm in her belief that she knows exactly who the father is. Despite her past mistakes, she speaks with certainty.
I did have sex with him, and I told you that it was way before your time.
So you admit, Ms. Rainey, that there was another guy, but you're saying not in the time frame.
Only between them two.
In terms of the time frame of conception.
Correct.
Mr. Matthews claims that sexual relationships don't hold much value to him anymore. He implies that physical intimacy doesn't necessarily equal equal emotional connection or responsibility.
Mr. Matthews, you're admitting that you continually sleep with her and have at least a sexual relationship with her.
Sex is sex. It ain't nothing important like ain't no.
Well, it's
ain't
important
nothing
when it produces
Who
people.
gonna have sex with somebody for 8.5 years and don't have no feelings? Period. Point blank. Let's be real.
Despite the judgment she faces, Miss Rainey carries herself with confidence. Some even feel she deserves a round of applause for the courage it takes to face everything head on.
You're criticizing her, and yet you openly admit you were living off of her and letting her take care of you.
Listen, I don't care if she was at the store panhandling for money all day. If she came back and gave it to me, I'ma take it.
Because he's nothing. He's nowhere.
Now, Mr. Matthews, if these kids are yours today, you're gonna be paying for it.
Judge Lake herself appears stunned at the level of disrespect and emotional chaos unfolding in her courtroom. She questions how someone can act with such audacity and contempt.
How do you disrespect her mother on this level and think that it's okay?
Because he don't respect
You
himself.
know, because she don't
Anytime
respect
you can
herself.
take the time out your day talking
She don't
about
respect herself.
somebody
She
who
work,
you got a
she
child
like,
by,
she talking about
you
working on a
disrespecting
pole. Like
yourself.
she be proud of it. Like you proud that you had
And
sex with
so
her whole
what?
family. Oh yeah, I
Okay,
did.
Judge doesn't shy away from voicing her thoughts, seems to align herself with the more reasonable side of the family. It becomes clear that many in the room are fed up with the drama.
Stand here, you're very strong, you're opinionated, I can do this, I got my own life, I'm equal, I can sleep with who I want, I can do who I want. And yet your actions in staying with a man that treats you this way for over 8 years, that don't add up to me. That's not what a strong woman does. And I want to understand that.
There's a growing consensus that people need to be educated about relationships, responsibility, and respect. The trial isn't just about paternity, it's about life lessons too.
I'm 26 now. I gotta live with my cousin because I don't have no help. And if I need help, $1, I can't even get $2 from him to get on the bus to take his kids to the doctor.
As a mother, you're understanding that the love and support of a father is valuable.
Yes, because my daddy wasn't there. And where I'm staying at now, my daddy is around the corner. Do my daddy come around the corner to see me? Oh, he don't.
Mr. Matthews claims he teaches his children not to follow in his footsteps, a statement that shocks many. The irony in his words is heavy, and it stirs up even more frustration.
These your only possible children, Mr. Matthews?
No, I got 6 kids.
Besides these 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you take care of those children?
No.
I do what I can. I talk to them, I tell them stuff, I teach them like how to not be like me, how not to, you know, like for real. Like, and that's just real. Like, but
As the trial nears its end, tension in the room builds. Judge Lake prepares to reveal the results, and with nerves at their peak, everyone braces themselves for the truth.
In the case of Rainey versus Matthews, when it comes to Renaya Matthews, Mr. Matthews, you are indeed her father. In the case of Rainey versus Matthews, as it pertains to Sally Sanders, Mr. Matthews, you are his father.
In this case, Mr. Fields and Miss Nicholson are taking the same shots at each other. Both are throwing accusations back and forth. Courtroom feels more like a battlefield than a place of justice.
Mr. Fields, you state you were here for the sake of your 1-year-old son. You claim the defendant has lied to you, cheated on you, and even told you herself that you are not the child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Nicholson, you deny being unfaithful and say Mr. Fields is the one who has cheated, and you can prove it.
Yes, Your Honor.
As the testimony proceeds, theme of doubt becomes the center of attention. Each side is focused on proving the other wrong, determined not to be the one left blamed.
Mr. Fields, what exactly has Ms. Nicholson done to make you doubt paternity?
Well, Your Honor, Sharice is a liar. The reason why I'm saying this is because Sharice gets off of work at 5 o'clock in the morning and she doesn't come home until 9 o'clock. Not to mention that I found numerous amount of panties in her vehicle.
Excuse me.
Your
Honor.
Along with an overnight bag.
Your Honor.
If you have an overnight bag and we live together, why do you have an overnight bag, Sharice?
Miss Nicholson firmly denies any wrongdoing and claims she has solid proof Mr. Fields cheated on her. Her confidence catches attention, raising eyebrows across the room.
He's the one who's the cheater. He sends me videos, pictures. I'm seeing text messages, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. There's proof that he's cheating. I also have a video stating
Okay, Your Honor, and I've told her everything. I've told her even before I've done such a thing.
Excuse me. This relationship is at rock bottom.
The case takes a dramatic turn when she introduces her twist evidence. It's scandalous, messy, and exactly the kind of bombshell that shakes the courtroom.
What
do you have?
I have a video showing that he's having sexual conduct with
Your
this
Honor.
lady. May I show you?
You submitted this video to the court?
Yes. I had to block out some things, of course, but...
Your Honor, I'm going to tell you how much of a dishonest person she
Excuse me,
is.
he's in a public bathroom.
Mr. Fields responds with a justification that doesn't help his case. She cheated only because she did it first. It's an ugly truth, one he puts out there without hesitation.
I did it out of anger, and I told her that I was going to cheat because she said she was going to cheat. Your Honor, just this morning before we got here hours ago, she told me that she slept with another man, and she took my son to go see him last week. That's actually his dad.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I did not say that this morning. What I said to him was, you keep telling me that he's not your son, so yeah, I'm gonna let you believe that he's not your son.
Judge Lauren has had enough of the constant arguments and interruptions. She steps in with authority, making it clear that the courtroom will not be overrun with chaos.
So listen, this relationship obviously isn't going very well.
No.
Neither one of you trust the other, but I need you to take me back during the window of conception so I can understand what exactly is going on and why is there an issue surrounding this child's paternity.
But Mr. Fields only adds more confusion, claiming Miss Nicholson told him to cheat. His statements become more baffling by the minute. Even the judge is visibly puzzled.
She says, go ahead and do it. I want to see you do it. Send me the video after you're done.
Excuse me, why would I want my boyfriend to cheat on me? What female wants that? Does it make sense? It doesn't.
Your Honor,
Who wants to be cheated on?
She says that out her mouth, along with her sister saying that she's a cheater and that boy is not mine.
Well, things continue to go downhill, the drama intensifying at every turn. The courtroom becomes a storm of confessions, blame, and emotional outbursts.
But you were seen walking in the back hallway with him on camera.
What camera? Where is it at? Where's the footage? Since I'm cheating, where is the footage to show the judge?
Do you have any evidence of this, Mr. Fields?
Yes, I do, but it's currently not here.
Therefore, that's not evidence.
And therefore,
That's
I
irrelevant.
cannot hear it. If you're going to come to court, you got to be prepared.
As all the secrets pour out, it feels like the court itself is the only one coming out on top. With nothing left hidden, everyone is waiting for the final word.
Began to tell him, well, if you don't think the baby is yours, then I'll just tell you the baby's not yours. And you do understand, Miss Nicholson, that's just making a bad situation worse. Because what you're giving him is, something to hang his hat on. Not just for you two because you're going tit for tat and back and forth and can't get along, but for the child.
Judge Lake, having heard enough from both sides, takes control of the moment. Now, it's time for the results and the truth to finally come to light.
In the case of Fields versus Nicholson, when it comes to 1-year-old Kazir Fields, Mr. Fields, you are his father.
A man who had an affair with a married woman is shocked to discover he might not be the father of her child. The news hits hard, leaving him confused and desperate for answers.
Angelari, you claim the defendant, Ms. Vargas, was married and having an affair with you when she got pregnant. Now, you say she initially told you that you were not the father of her 11-month-old son, but then dropped the bomb that the child was indeed yours.
That is correct.
After her marriage was over.
That is correct.
Where the woman's marriage began to fall apart, she grew emotionally and physically close to Mr. Angelari. Their connection quickly turned into an affair during her time of separation.
Your Honor, Miss Vargas and I, we were never in a relationship.
Okay.
We worked together. We were good friends. She would come to me to confide with me over her rocky relationship that she had with her husband. Then, a few weeks later, she came in, said it's the last straw. I'm completely done with him. Then, next thing you know, we became better friends. She had brought her kids over a few times. We'd go out at night.
With heavy drinking involved during their encounters, it became unclear exactly when the child may have been conceived. This uncertainty added another layer of tension to the already complicated situation.
We started drinking a lot together. One night, we ended up back at my place. We'd been at the club. We got turned up. We were out there doing our thing. We went to the house, started doing our thing.
Our thing.
Yeah.
That night, when we, had sexual intercourse, you planned to get me pregnant. I feel like you did.
Oh, no, that's a
Hold on.
Judge Lauren Lake had to intervene and tell Mr. Angelari to calm down. His emotions were getting the best of him as the courtroom drama continued to unfold.
I realize that you may hear some things that will evoke intense emotion.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you're not going to clown or act a fool or use inappropriate language in this courtroom. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize.
So you got to find a better way to express yourself.
All right, I can understand.
Make matters worse, a stalker entered the picture. And even in court, flirting between the woman and Mr. Angelari didn't stop. Their behavior raised eyebrows and concern.
My friends at work would always tell me, like, you know, he's looking at you again. Look at him.
And they said the same thing to me.
Really?
Look, Vanessa's over there looking at you.
Why would I look at you if I didn't have any feelings for you? If I didn't like you?
I don't know.
He was doing the stalker thing where you know, he would be looking at me and I'd turn and look and yeah, there he goes, staring at me again.
Well, look at you, you're beautiful. Come on now, any kind of man that likes women would stare at you.
This led to a bigger question: does being separated from your husband give you a free pass to cheat? Judge Lake questioned the morality and timing of her decisions.
Well, at this point, you're married, Miss Vargas.
Your Honor, at the time we were separated.
So you two were intimate.
Yes, just once.
And then you found out you were pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
So within a 30-day or less time period, you had been intimate with your husband and also Mr. Angelari.
Yeah. Yes.
The woman also began to double back on her earlier statements, slipping up under pressure. Her inconsistencies made it harder to believe her version of events.
So when you first found out you were pregnant, Ms. Vargas, did you call Mr. Angelari and say this child is yours?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you told him it was his.
I first did.
Then you decided I want to try to work this out with my husband. So you tell your husband that it's his.
There could be a chance that it was his.
Another lie.
It became clear why Mr. Angelari was so determined to get to the bottom of the situation. He wanted to know the truth not just for himself, but for the child's future.
Just reunited with my father after 15 years, and it's been great. It's been tough growing up without a dad, and I don't think any kid deserves growing up without either one of their parents. So that's why I want to get to the bottom of this.
Now, all the facts out in the open, it's time to bring clarity. Judge Lake prepares to solve the mystery once and for all for the sake of the innocent baby caught in the middle.
In the case of Angelari versus Vargas, as it pertains to 11-month-old Giovanni Vargas, Mr. Angelari, you are the father.
Miss MC Duffy is in court to prove that her ex is the biological father of her daughter. She stands firm in her claim, determined to get the truth out in the open once and for all.
Ms. McDuffie, you are here today to prove that your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Edwards, is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Samaya. You say you are tired of the defendant denying your child and evading his responsibility. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The big question is whether the DNA test will finally make him step up and take responsibility. No more disappearing ex, just a clear answer for the sake of the child.
Your Honor, these results are important because I know Mr. Sammy Edwards is the father. He's a pop in and pop out dad. One minute he's claiming her, the next minute she's not his daughter. And at this point, I just want my daughter to be taken care of and get the same love and support. I've allowed him opportunity. I've never denied him from his child, and I'm still getting a backlash as if this is not his daughter.
Surprisingly, he didn't waste any time admitting he might be the father. His quick acknowledgement made Judge Lauren Lake's job a bit easier, at least in the beginning.
All right, so, Mr. Edwards?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh!
Yeah.
You're going to make my job easy today.
I'll be honest, you know, she said I'm going to pop in and pop out dad or whatever, just simply because she's a gorgeous little girl, you know. I don't want to get too attached to her or get my family too attached to her because I just don't know if she's mine or not.
However, the real issue lies in his inconsistency as a parent. This MC Duffy refers to him as a pop-in, pop-out daddy, frustrated with his lack of steady involvement.
Pop in, you pop out 1 minute, you calling her, that's good. Can I see my baby? Can I do this with my daughter? And then now you're not. Like, I don't get it. Make up your mind.
So,
Either you're her dad or you're not.
Their relationship began during a spring fling, a lighthearted moment that led to serious consequences. What started off as fun quickly turned into something much more complicated.
So you had sex the first night?
Yeah, 3 times.
Yes. Did you use protection?
Oh, nah.
Alcohol was heavily involved that night, clouding judgment and leading to decisions neither of them fully understood at the time. Still, child may have been conceived from that one encounter.
I'm not gonna lie, hot dog, no bun. I ain't gonna lie to you.
What in the world? What is all this sex with just no protection?
And alcohol was involved in that situation too.
With you, not with me, because I don't drink.
You were drinking that night.
To support her claim, Miss NC Duffy took multiple pregnancy tests, 48 to be exact. She wanted to be absolutely sure before making any accusations or assumptions.
I found out I was pregnant through the doctor's office. I took 48 pregnancy tests. 48. Yo, it didn't come up in my urine. That is not how I found out I was pregnant.
All right.
You know that. I found out I was pregnant through a blood test.
But instead of support, she was met with shock and disbelief. His reaction after all those tests was still one of denial, which only deepened the tension between them.
Mr. Edwards, once you found out she was pregnant, how did you feel?
I'm not gonna lie to you. A part of me was excited, even though we really didn't know each other, because you know I love kids, and a part of me was like man, this child may not be mine.
Things escalated when her family from Texas reached out to him directly. That move only added more drama to an already messy situation.
His whole family hit me up on social
That's a lie. That's a lie.
What?
I'm talking about harassing the hell out of me, talking about this is not your child, you're stupid, why are you taking care of this child, or why you got her, or not child, but why you got her.
How pregnant was Ms. McDuffie
like
at the
6
time?
7 months, you know what I'm saying, around that time.
Begs the question, why would anyone go to such lengths to avoid the truth? Miss N.C. Duffy believes he's playing dirty, and it's hard not to wonder if she's right.
Can't have kids because we went to the sperm doctor and they said his sperm is this and that, but she just recently said she keep in contact with this guy, and now he has a daughter.
At one point, it seemed like she was trying to create a smokescreen, possibly to cover up some inconsistencies in her own story. The courtroom began to question both sides.
Never wanted a relationship with him. It was never a relationship in the beginning, and I openly expressed that to Sammy at the time.
Yeah, that's not what you said, Miss McDuffie. That really isn't. That's not what you testified to, but as you getting going, you story.
Bringing out that lie. You can
No,
just
it
look
ain't
at
no lie. It's not a lie.
You can just look at her face expression. She's
It's
like,
not a lie.
I know she lying.
It's not a lie. How is it a lie?
The drama intensified when she admitted to having sexual contact with 2 men during the same time period. That revelation cast serious doubt on her initial claim.
Your testimony started out one way, and the next thing you know, it ended up being that you did have a sexual relationship.
He knew I had a sexual relationship. I didn't deny that from him.
Did you know that, Mr. Edwards?
I don't know what she got so
here
much.
you go with this
I mean,
man. I don't play like that. I'm openly honest.
All right, all right.
From what I knew, this man have dates.
All right.
Judge Lauren Lake, tired of the chaos and conflicting stories, decided it was time to end the confusion. Now, all that's left is to reveal the results and finally bring clarity to the situation.
In the case of McDuffie versus Edwards, when it comes to 2-year-old Samaya McDuffie, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Edwards, you are the father.
Mr. Jones is in court today to prove that he is not the father of Miss Turner's baby. His suspicions have been weighing heavily on him, and he's finally seeking answers.
Mr. Jones, you state you have always believed you are not the father of the defendant's 5-month-old son, Amir. You claim your suspicions were confirmed after receiving a text message just 3 weeks ago. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
What led him to doubt the paternity? It all started with a message just, a simple text that raised a lot of questions.
Tell me why you don't believe you're the father.
Like you said, just 3 weeks ago, I received this text message. A message from Facebook from somebody I don't even know.
And this message says, why you claiming that baby? Men running in and out of her house. Get a DNA test. Don't be a fool.
The text came either from a jealous hater or worse, a man she may have cheated with. That single message opened the door to a storm of doubt.
I don't know who that is, but like I told him, you know, he got so many females. We do got people that's some haters, so it could be a little fake page.
Oh, wait a minute. You said haters?
Yes.
So you think it's a hater just texting him at 12:59 a.m.?
I know for a fact it's a little hater, because I don't even know who the person is. So they made it a little fake page.
It was a male, Your Honor.
Miss Turner admitted she got cozy with her ex because she suspected Mr. Jones was cheating on her. Instead of clarity, the situation spiraled into more confusion.
So you start sending friendly good morning texts.
Ma'am.
How are you? How was your day? Being a little extra friendly and cozy because you thought Mr. Jones was cheating.
I ain't thought I knew.
So you knew he was cheating.
If he was pregnant, I would have said his baby ain't mine.
Things got even messier when Mr. Jones received a voicemail. Hearing his girlfriend's unmistakable voice with another man shook him to his core.
One day she butt dialed me. Well, however she called me. I don't know if it was on purpose. Left for me, I didn't answer the phone. It was a message.
Why
left
ain't
on
answer
my
the phone,
voicemail.
though? Why ain't
Didn't
answer the phone? Where was he
Message
at?
On my voicemail.
Where was he at, though? Why you ain't answer the phone?
It was a message. It was late night. I was asleep.
Oh, he was in the hotel room.
So hold on, Miss Turney, let me hear this story. When you played your voicemail, what'd you hear?
I heard moaning.
Moaning?
I heard moaning, and I heard another man talking in the background.
Despite all the drama, Mr. Jones has still been trying to step up and be the best father he can be. His commitment to the child has remained strong, even through the uncertainty.
A lot of times, I always tell people, when you grow up without having your father, it can go one of two ways. You can either be the father you never had, or you can be the father you never had. Same sentence, two different meanings. And I appreciate, Mr. Jones, you saying you're doing your best to be what you never had, and sometimes you don't even know how to be that.
Now, with everything out in the open, Judge Lake prepares to deliver the results. It's time to find out the truth once and for all.
In the case of Jones versus Turner, when it comes to 5-month-old Amir Turner, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Jones, you are the father.
I'm bringing my husband, hopefully ex-husband soon, for child support. He roughly pays about $1,000 a month, and I feel he should be paying more because he makes more. He makes more than I do.
Okay, but he's not under a court order, right?
No, ma'am. He just gives.
So he voluntarily gives you $1,000 a month for child support.
Yes, and exactly voluntarily gives me money. Every
but
now and then.
That's a good thing, right?
Every now and then he gives me money, and most time I'm begging for him to give me money.
It appears that she is dissatisfied with the $11,000 her husband provides her each month. One might consider this a display of ingratitude, as she receives a substantial amount without any apparent effort and still manages to voice complaints. However, this situation is merely the beginning. The forthcoming revelations promise to escalate the drama significantly.
So what's going on? Like, fill me in. How did we get here today?
We're here today because I know he's a truck driver. He's over the road all the time. But like I said, I need more money for my children. They're in activities, private school. I just need more money. And I'm not jealous of him or anything like that. That's what he said before, but I'm not.
You said they're in activities and they go to private school, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it fair to assume that the $1,000 is covering that?
No, it's not.
So who needs the money, the kids or you?
Well, of course, I have to look good too, but I don't spend that money on myself. I spend it on my
spend all of it on herself, Your Honor.
No, I do not. No, I do not. You don't have proof of that?
Your Honor, I currently...
You don't have proof of that?
Currently...
You do not have proof of that?
Excuse me. Okay. As best you can, try not to interject until I'm done speaking with her, and I promise I will come over to you.
Yes, thank you, because I was talking.
I was talking to him. I did not need you to echo me.
Yes,
okay?
ma'am.
All right. Now you answer my questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Wouldn't it be fair to say that with the tuition as well as the children's expenses, that $1,000 is covering that?
It's not.
How much is the tuition?
Tuition is, we have 2 children.
Okay.
And tuition is it's about $500 a piece. That's $1,000 right there. And I still need more money because I need clothes. I need to feed them.
Does he give you any money in regards to extra, like for the extracurricular activities or anything like that?
I'm trying to get extra. He won't give me that. No, he does not give me extra.
What is the visitation schedule between the two of you?
He has the kids Sunday through Wednesday.
That's split.
In a situation where the father has custody of the children for 4 days each week, it is surprising that she continues to request additional child support. It seems evident that her motivations for the financial support are more self-serving than for the benefit of the children. Despite her ex-husband's commitment to providing $11,000 monthly while caring for the children most of the week, her demands are astonishing.
So let me just make sure I got this straight. He's voluntarily giving you $1,000 a month for child support, correct?
That's correct.
He has the children, you said Sunday through Wednesday?
Yes.
Which means you have them Wednesday through Sunday?
That's correct.
Who pays health insurance?
I do, Your Honor.
How much is health insurance?
It's roughly $309 a month. She asked me a question.
But she's still talking to me, though.
Okay. I did ask him a question.
Okay.
So, everything that I just repeated back to you is accurate, right?
He has money. He's spending on other women.
That wasn't my question. Everything that I just repeated back to you is accurate, right?
Pretty much.
So I'm confused as to why you're here. Are you trying to put him on
I want to put him on
You want to put him on child support for the $1,000, or are you trying to put him on child support for something more?
Something more, yes.
Okay, let me move over to, well, before I move over to him, what do you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
All right, how much money you make?
I make about $60,000.
All right, do you have access to private health insurance for the children?
Yes, I do, but I'm a teacher. I don't have that extra. That's why the father should help out with that.
He does. He pays health insurance.
Yes.
He just said he pays $309.
Yes.
So you can't say he needs to help out with that because he's already...
Earning an annual salary of $60,000 is commendable, yet her assertion that this income, combined with the monthly support, is insufficient is difficult to believe. Her attempts to justify her position only lead her deeper into a precarious situation, and the circumstances appear to be deteriorating further.
Okay, all right. Now, sir, what do you do for a living?
I'm a truck driver.
Truck driver. How much money do you make?
I make roughly maybe 82 a year.
All right. Now, help me make sense of this. You give her $1,000 a month for the children. You pay health insurance. You all have a split schedule.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm missing something. Like, what is the issue? Why are we here? Because I would think that you bring someone to child support court if they're not doing something. I do understand making it legal, putting it in a document, but you're asking for more money. So I'm trying to get the disconnect here.
So what it is, Your Honor,
he's spending money on.
She never lets me talk, so.
Okay, I'm gonna let you talk.
Exactly.
Okay.
What it is, Your Honor, she's she didn't mention this, but she's engaged.
Wow.
And she just found out that I'm recently dating, so now she's mad at me.
Oh, I'm mad.
There goes the
Very mad.
conflict.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
There goes the conflict.
I'm
Now,
not
I
mad.
asked what was the disconnect here. It was something missing. So you brought him to court because he has a new girlfriend?
No, ma'am, I'm not
That's
mad
exactly
about
why, Your Honor.
And you're engaged?
Yes, ma'am.
He's still gonna want to marry you after he see what you're doing to this man?
He's on my side about this.
Of course he is.
So he agrees that he should be paying more than
Yes.
$1,000 a month
Yes,
in
like
child
I said,
support.
he has other women that he's pretty much
What does
tricking
his
money
other
on.
women have to do with anything?
He's spending all
Quite
the money.
frankly, you shouldn't care. You have a whole nother man that you should be worried about, and you over
understand
here
that.
all in his business.
I'm not trying to be
And
in
he
his
doesn't
business.
even
You
work
are
there.
trying to be in his business because you have mentioned it twice that he has other women. His
Yes.
other women has nothing to do with this case.
it
So
really
you can
does,
pipe
Your Honor.
down
It really
and stop
does.
bringing that up. It has nothing to do with
Okay.
it. Well, let
It
me
really
say it
does.
like this. It is not going to have an impact on my decision today.
Wow. Okay.
Okay? Thank you. Now, so you have a new girlfriend and she's in her feelings about it. Okay?
She always try to come by to see if she's there. If she sees us out, she always try to come make a hostile environment.
Did your fiance come to court today?
No, he didn't.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Because if what he's saying is true, that's not a good look.
Her current partner shows little interest in the child support issues or in her legal battles with her ex-husband. Tyrone seems focused solely on his own interests. Given the unresolved conflicts between the parents, it may be more appropriate for them to address their issues in divorce court rather than child support court. Regardless, this unfolding drama provides ample entertainment, and one should not miss the woman's reaction upon discovering the extent of her child support obligations. It promises to be quite revealing.
I'm not jealous. I'm not hating. I'm not coming by the house or anything looking for him.
Okay.
So again, the disconnect is
Stop spending that money on the other women and these
I
children.
need you to stop interrupting me
Yes, ma'am.
because you have not done anything to prove to me yet that this man needs to pay you even the $1,000.
Okay.
You said the children are in private school. It's $1,000 for private school.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the whole child support, that I need more money to take care of them.
But you're a
You're
teacher.
taking care of yourself.
What?
You're not taking care of them.
You don't know that.
I do.
No,
Miss
you don't.
Henry. Miss
know
Henry.
that. Yes,
You
ma'am.
obviously came here to waste my time.
No,
okay?
no, Your Honor.
Yes, you did.
No.
Yes, you
No.
did. You are asking for more money, and he's giving just that. He's giving $1,000. He's covering the kids' tuition.
So what about clothing?
Y'all have a split schedule.
I
He
buy
needs
them.
to
I got
maintain
clothes at my
clothing.
house.
Excuse me,
Please,
Mr.
you
Henry,
bring the
excuse
kids
me. Give me a
back
minute.
home and they
Give me
look
a minute.
just-
Here's the reality of it. You all have a split schedule. You need to be providing clothing and everything for your home. You need to be providing clothing and everything for your home. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to order anybody to pay child support. What I'm going to do is that you testified to this. You said tuition was $1,000. Yes. $500 per child. So you know what? You're going to pay $500 and he's going to pay $500 directly to the school.
That's
That
you
is
make
right.
more money than I do, and you hadn't.
And you're going to keep maintaining the health insurance. Okay. Now,
Thank
if you decide to get private health insurance on your own through your employer, you're obviously you know you can do that. The children can be double insured, but
True.
I'm not going to have him pay more than $1,000 or even continue paying $1,000 when, based on both of your testimony, you have a split schedule. That's what's in the best interest of the children, and that's what's fair.
Fair?
That is fair.
That's not fair.
Well, it is fair today. Did you have anything else?
You got it. You got it.
It's always about me, right?
It is.
I asked you a question. Did you have anything further for today?
No, I don't.
Okay, Mr. Henry,
When
did
you
you
bring
have?
the kids back home, make sure they're dressed properly, please.
I bring them back with what they came with.
What? Okay.
Okay, well, Mr. Henry, is there anything further?
That's it, Your Honor.
If there is nothing further, you all are dismissed.
My brother needs some help around about now. But my ex over here, Vagelina, she needs to be coming up off the insurance money for these kids. She has not given me any help as far as like taking care of these kids. And then she want to play sports. I need help.
All right, how many kids are we talking?
3.
3? Okay, what are their ages?
16, 12, and 9.
All right.
Who kids are 16, 12, and 9? Go ahead.
You don't know?
He don't know it. I'm waiting.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
next. Don't worry.
So did you say the wrong ages
No.
or something?
16, 12, and 9.
Okay. What is going on? Tell me the backstory.
Okay. So me and Vag got together back in the day.
All right.
We been tight, everything was good. But then she started giving me like all kind of attitude, all kind of problems. She stopped showing up at home, Your Honor.
Okay.
And so I don't understand it. So when I was
So
coming,
y'all don't live together anymore?
no more, not right
And
now.
and the children live with?
Me.
Okay, got it. Continue.
Okay, let's be straight up. 2 of the kids, mine.
Okay.
I just take care of the little third one because she won't come around.
Okay.
I mean, he all right and stuff like that, but I take care of the third one. He all right, he's straight.
Okay.
But I don't get any insurance payments or any assistance. When these kids have to go to the doctor, when they have to be out of school because one of them hurt their leg or their arm or something like that, I don't get no help. I call her. Well, that's you taking care of them kids. I know that, but I ain't have them.
I understand your
I just need
frustration.
some help on this.
I understand your frustration.
Thank you.
Were y'all in a relationship?
We were married, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So y'all are divorced.
Indeed.
All right. So you're under the divorce decree. Who had custody of the kids? Like who were? Okay, you. Okay. All right. All right.
No
tell
bread.
me. So there was an agreement not to receive or pay child support at the time of the divorce?
Well, I didn't really want to.
I don't think the mother should pay child support to the father. You're the father.
I'll get to you in just a moment, and we'll touch on that comment you just made.
Your Highness, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff I have to deal with. She don't want to do nothing for the children. Nothing.
Is there anything else you want me to know before I move over to her and she gets to tell me her side?
Now, I want you to hear what she got to say right quick, because it ain't going to be too much of nothing. I just need you to help me with this insurance.
Health insurance and child support, right?
I ain't going to really push that, but and you know, with you being the judge, Your Honor, you can push that child support, because we need a little help. We need a little help. It's hard out here.
All right. Well, can I move over to her?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Hello, great evening, sunshine. Is it really my turn? You ready? You done? Okay.
Okay, all of that extra.
Because, ma'am, he's not giving you the full
You know,
story.
although I love the Vogue, we don't need it right now, okay?
I'm so sorry. my ex-husband, when we divorced, I did not have the job in which I have now. That's how he received custody.
Where do you work at now?
I am now a building manager.
Okay.
I have been trying to get custody of my children for several months. The reason for the divorce, once I started working at the building in the beginning, I went to take the maintenance guy over to check out one of the units that needed to be serviced, and my husband was there sticking a toy in a young lady's ear.
Wait. Your Majesty, that's a desecration.
That is not a desecration of nothing, sir. You was decimating that lady's ear, sir.
First of all, both of you are saying the word wrong. It's defamation. Okay?
Did I just hear correctly that she claimed he inserted a toy into someone's ear? Now they are both tossing around legal jargon that they appear to misunderstand. This case continues to escalate in unexpected ways. Stay tuned to see what unfolds next.
There will be no outbursts in here.
So, after that, I do come and pick up the children every weekend. I also pick them up on Wednesdays, correct? What do you do?
You're talking to me right now. You're not talking to him.
I pick them up every Wednesday and on the weekends.
Okay.
So that's when he go out and do his old nasty finagling with the money that I do send him. The children still call me for assistance financially because the money that I do send them.
How much money do you send them on a monthly basis?
I send my children $750 a month.
$55.
On top of...
I said no outburst.
He is sorry. On top of...
I don't need you to throw jabs at him while I am addressing him, okay? You all are going to have to learn to respect each other. Otherwise, I can't get any information that I need, and I'll have to dismiss your case. And I know you do not want this case dismissed.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
$750 a month on top of the insurance that I pay a month. And he just got a new car.
Okay.
And I believe he is about to move.
But he would need a car for the transportation of 3
There
children.
was absolutely nothing wrong with the...
How do you know nothing? How do you know nothing was wrong with his car?
I'm there every week at least twice or 4 times to pick up and drop off.
That doesn't mean that nothing is wrong with his car.
Pick up and drop off.
Excuse me. That doesn't mean
he
that
got a
nothing
new
is
car
wrong with
because
his car.
he let his new girlfriend get the other car.
So are you mad about that?
No, I'm not. I'm mad that my money is not going to my children, and he has me in court asking for more money.
How do you know it isn't going to the children?
My children tell me, Mama, we don't have food in the house.
Do they tell you that, or
they
you
do
ask
tell me
them?
that. Oh no, I don't have to ask them.
Well, and while we're on the subject of the children, how old are they?
My children, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Our children.
Furthermore, did she really name their children Earth, Wind, and Fire? That is quite astonishing.
Well, he said one of them is not his child.
No, all 3 of them. 7, 9, and 11. 7,
That's far
9,
off.
and 11. And yes, I do want them to play sports because he have them at home playing video games where they're learning to play with strippers on some video games.
Now she is accusing him of allowing the children to play video games in the presence of strippers. This situation is spiraling out of control.
The girls shaking their tail on the table, on the pole, on the video game. That's what he got them doing, and he want more money because I want them in sports.
What kind of sports are you
I just want them to play football, basketball.
Are you
They
going
can do
to
tennis.
cover that
I do
expense?
not mind.
Okay.
I actually want them back. My son walked in on him and his friend with a stripper, with the coinage, because he only makes what? A garbage, you pick up garbage, drop off garbage.
Okay, you don't have to shade him.
No shade, that's his occupation, ma'am.
At least he's working.
I'm not, no tea, no shade.
My job is waste management. While she trying to trip, it's waste
Pick up trash,
management.
drop off trash, and then pick up trash and pay for it with my coinage. So I don't feel that I should need to pay him anything extra.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How many months have you been giving him the $750?
It's been since they've been with him, and it's been a year.
Okay.
Year.
Badge, I don't know why you lying this late like this.
That's how we doing this.
I promise you.
No, that's not how we're doing this because y'all are supposed to be talking to me.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I
would.
also have text messages from him where he
Okay.
is actually saying thank you for the payment. Thank you for the payment.
And you asked for, hold on one second, and you asked for back child support as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, they've been living with you for the past year, all right? And you're saying that's how much money that you've given him every single month?
Every single month.
Okay. So the children do live with him, which means you should be paying him some sort of child support.
That's $950 so far a month.
Okay. I thought it was $750.
$750 plus the insurance that I'm already paying.
Oh,
That
okay.
is-
How much is the insurance?
The insurance is $200 a month.
Okay. Is that for all three of the
That's
children?
for all three children.
Okay.
That's a travesty. You're high up.
Is that not what she's paying? How do you know?
The money that hits that account is nowhere near it.
How much has she been giving you according to your record?
In total, I have $785 from the whole year that someone calls themselves paying. I'm telling you, it's a travesty.
How do you send the money?
I send it
Cash app.
Direct deposit. It comes out of my account directly.
So is it Cash App or
No,
is
no,
it
no,
direct
no.
deposit?
It's
Are the
direct
children
deposit.
16, 12, and
No, no.
9, or they 7, 9,
They
and
7,
11?
9, and
Y'all
11.
have me so
As the young
Come
folks
on
say
now.
these days, I got receipts.
I have receipts also, ma'am.
So it sounds like we need birth certificates too,
Let's
because
do
y'all don't
it.
know how old these
Let's
kids
do
are.
it. My son say he stays high. How would he know?
Oh.
I got a witness.
Bring
Okay. Who is your witness? And what are they going to be a witness to?
My character and how she has not been paying on these bills that she's supposed to be paying on, Your Honor. I need help with this insurance.
Okay. All right, so we're going to have the bailiff get your witness, okay?
I appreciate that.
All right.
Uh-huh. Excuse me, Your Honor. Excuse me. That's supposed to be my witness. What did you?
Didn't turn out that way today, Your Honor. Didn't turn out that.
Wait a moment. She believed the witness was supporting her, but it turns out the witness is actually his girlfriend. What a shocking twist. If you are as surprised as I am, please show your support by liking this post.
Okay, so she is your witness.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what is your name? Okay. Did you forget your name?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Now, Miss Shantae, what? And you will not disrespect and disrupt her. Okay, please. Thank you. Now, Shantae, what's going on? Has she been giving this man $750 a month, or is his account
No,
true
ma'am.
that it's only $700 or so dollars?
There's
in total?
only $785 that's been given the whole year.
Okay.
The whole year.
Okay. Okay, Miss Shantae.
So where's
Are
the
you
rest
sure?
of the money?
Wait, Miss
Excuse
Shantae.
me. No, you wait. You wait. I'm about ready to have my bailiff escort you out of here.
Square business, Your Honor.
You too.
I've been taking care of you.
Both of you. And Shantae, I know you just did not sit in this witness seat and start talking.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't be sorry. Don't do it. So you're saying she's only given $785 for the entire year?
For the whole year.
Okay. And Dad is being truthful about them living with him and everything like
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is your relation to this case? Because she said you were her witness.
Her witness? No.
Okay, so what is your relation to this case?
I'm his girlfriend.
Oh, okay. All right. So what you're saying is truthful about everything going on?
Correct.
Okay.
I've been taking care of her kids for the last year.
It was probably my kid's toy that he was putting in her ear.
Okay.
You jealous?
See, there she go with that disrespect again.
Not jealous
Defamation.
at all.
Oh, yeah.
Not jealous at all, dear.
Why don't you take care of your kids? Send the money.
You're absolutely
Where's the
right.
money?
But weren't you? Wait. No. She wants to talk. Now, ma'am, weren't you the
Where's
one?
the money?
No. Weren't you the one that texted
If
me?
you ain't
and
talking
said,
about money, I don't hear nothing. Where's the
No,
money?
it is about
The money.
Aren't
The
you
money.
the one that said thank you,
Ching, ching,
ma'am,
the money.
so much for sending us the money for your kids? Because he's taking me on a trip next weekend.
No.
Isn't that the BS that
Mind
you
your
sent me?
business.
'Cause
We
that's
just
how
need
I
our
know that
money
my
for the
check's been
kids,
posted.
Your Honor. We're just
And
here
then,
about
ma'am,
the
when they
kids.
went on the trip there, she thought she was doing something by sending pictures of her hairy,
Your Honor.
run over body. Honey, don't nobody want
Your
that but
Honor.
him. You see, I left her.
See, she just goes on and on and on and on and on.
All
Your
right.
kids don't even want to be with you.
It sounds like
Just send your
both-
money.
So untrue.
Just send your
But you're
money.
also the girl that my kids saw him doing drugs off of your belly, right?
Excuse me?
Aren't you the girl that
No,
had the
ma'am.
white
Judge,
stuff?
hold on, wait, before you go.
That was us.
We need
That was
decisions
us.
about this insurance.
No, because that was us.
Lord,
So
we
I
need
have been
decisions.
paying my coins. It's easy for
She
her to
just
say that I
mad.
don't pay, especially when he is sniffing it off of her belly region and when my
Lord
kids
Jesus.
walking in the room.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do because that went real left and I don't have time. I can leave.
I don't need you to do that. I promise, please.
Well, it sounds like we probably need to reset this when you all have calmed down.
We're all calm, Your Honor. Can we just
Y'all
continue
are all
on?
calm because I got up to leave.
It seems the judge has reached her limit with their incessant bickering. Will she finally restore some semblance of order to this chaotic courtroom?
We don't want you to go. I don't want to come back and waste my time. I want to go back to
Well,
my kids.
obviously, all three of you came here to waste my time. Shantae, I thought you were going to give me
No,
some
Your Honor,
information
we're
that I
here-
really needed.
We're here to.
Mr. Lewis, you filed this suit because you said you needed help. Sound like you just want to get revenge.
Miss Omnipotence, I promise you, it's not that.
Miss Vagelina, am I saying that right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm really not sure why you're here.
I don't either. Me neither. I really would like my children.
Well, that's not going to happen because they've been living with Dad.
Thank you.
I'll keep fighting for them.
Okay, so this is what we are going to do today. So you asked for back child support. So we are going to grant the back child support to Dad because based on his testimony as well as his witness's testimony, you've only given $785. You didn't bring anything in here with me, any receipts to show that, well, here's the deal about evidence. Testimonial evidence is still evidence. So until you bring something that can go against what he said, I have to assume it's true because you guys raised your hand and swore that you would tell the truth, right? So that's what we're going to do. You're going to reimburse him. I will give you credit for the $785. Now, if you bring something in here to show different, we can do different. But $750,
$785.
I mean, excuse me, $785, you subtract that from what it should be for the past year is $8,215 that you owe in back child support that is going to be paid to him monthly at a rate of $100. Then on top of that, how much is it that you make a year?
Yeah, you just took it out.
$200K.
She makes $200,000 a year.
Okay, all right.
$200,000 a year is what she makes.
Okay, thank you. Now, nothing else while I'm talking. Okay, thank you.
But they just
health insurance, $200. You get credit for that.
Oh no.
Your child support, because you capped out, is going to come out to $2,760 plus the $100 reimbursement, bringing your amount to $2,860 per month.
So we brought the same type of evidence in here, and because he's hunching his, I have to pay the month.
Okay, that was inappropriate, first off. Second off, I made my ruling. Are there any other questions?
No, ma'am.
I apologize. I'm sorry. I love you. Come here to me.
Do you remember being intimate with your husband on March 8th?
I honestly don't remember, Your Honor.
And so the truth is, you don't even remember being intimate with your husband on March the 8th, but you do remember sleeping with your ex on the 7th and the 9th. And were you intimate with your wife?
We were intimate on the 8th.
So at that point, you pretty much blacked out, or you have no memory recall because you were that drunk.
Yes, I was.
And then shortly after that, you find out you're pregnant.
All right. It's just because it's a reality of how relationships are.
I honestly don't remember, Your Honor. The only reason I remember the ex is because of it being on the day of the car wreck.
And then you remembered you'd also had sex with him 2 days before.
Yes.
I'm very sorry, Sierra.
This case is quite unique. It's not just any dispute, but one between a husband and wife. And unlike many others, this isn't their first time in court. Previously, Mrs. Hendrick accused Mr. Hendrick of being unfaithful on Coob's court.
He was naked on the bed, and Chris was in there.
Oh, I'm perfectly aware of what's at stake.
There's the girls and then the baby. I mean,
You're expecting?
yeah, I'm
Oh
6
my.
months.
Mr. Hendricks was asked, had he had sex with his ex? What was his response?
His response was no.
Now, the roles have reversed. Mr. Hendrick is the one making accusations claiming that his wife has been unfaithful. Not only that, but he also suspects that she had a baby with another man.
Mr. Hendricks, you say you confirmed your wife has been unfaithful and there is no way her child is yours. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're also petitioning the court for a lie detector test to determine the extent of your wife's cheating.
That's a first. However, Mrs. Hendrick isn't backing down. She insists that the baby looks just like her husband, even calling the child his twin to support her claim. It's interesting how confident she is about a newborn's resemblance to him, but hey, to each their own.
And you don't think he has any reason to deny the child?
No. I mean, I was very honest with him with what happened before, and he has taken it to the extent of denying our son.
To prove her loyalty, Mrs. Hendrick states that she has done everything her husband wanted regarding the child, including having him circumcised and even naming him after Mr. Hendrick. Yet, despite all this, Mr. Hendrick remains skeptical.
I mean,
I even named him after your dad. I mean,
he barely looks like me. I'm not seeing any characteristics. He don't have any of my personal features. I don't know.
You must be blind.
I'm not seeing it as well as the others.
So he admits that while he feels a bond with his other children, he doesn't feel the same connection with baby Christopher. And for him, that alone is enough reason to doubt the child's paternity. But what started all this drama in the first place?
his Facebook messages were coming to my phone, and it was one of his coworkers, and she was saying very sexual things to him. About 10 days later, I had found out that I had endometrial cancer, and I had gotten real sick. And
oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Well, I'm in remission now. Thank
Thank God. Yes. Amen.
And whenever I was diagnosed with all of that, I just got very upset.
Well, here's where things get even messier. Mrs. Hendrick had been ill, and in that short period, everything spiraled out of control. On top of that, she was diagnosed with cancer, which has left her feeling like she's on borrowed time.
Partying and doing things that refusing to come home.
She never came home.
At night?
Never. She'd
I
always
would
stay
be at my family member's
She'd stay at family members' house.
You knew
drink
where I
until early in
was.
the morning.
I mean, I'm a very predictable person.
You would come home long enough to change your clothes, take a shower, leave again.
Talk about a butterfly effect. Now their home has turned into a war zone, making it unsafe for everyone involved. And Mr. Hendrick isn't the only one feeling betrayed. Mrs. Hendrick shares more details about their troubled relationship and what happened after her diagnosis.
And it was so uncomfortable with our past and with our life that I didn't even stay in the house. I took our car and I wound up driving around town, wasting gas, falling asleep in it on dirt roads because I couldn't go home.
At this point, Judge Lake says what we're all thinking. It makes sense why they no longer trust each other. Mr. Hendrick is now demanding a lie detector test for his wife, while Mrs. Hendrick is accusing him of outright denying their baby.
Maybe when I got the phone call, whenever I had cancer, you told me, well, with everything that's going on, should I care?
Wait a minute. Did you say that, Mr. Hendricks?
To an extent.
No, those were his exact words.
To an extent.
Oh, now that's cruel. So you all were in a very bad place.
We were fighting very bad. I mean, that was, like I said.
Then, Mr. Hendrick explains where his trust issues stem from. After trying to patch things up, they hosted a small party at their home, which involved some drinking.
Where this pattern she developed, going out, drinking, not coming home, this is the behavior that you felt indicated that she potentially could be sleeping with somebody else.
That night, a family member who had been living with Mrs. Hendrick dropped a bombshell. They confirmed to Mr. Hendrick that she had, in fact, been with another man. Things just keep getting messier.
And the family member looked at her and said, you're a bull-faced liar. You came to my house that very next night and said you did it.
I hadn't.
Now,
you slept with somebody else?
Sexual relations with this other gentleman.
That did not come from me. That came from a family member that I was around. You know that.
But at the same time, she keeps telling everybody she was too drunk that she don't remember if anything happened or not.
I did say that.
So far, we've mostly heard Mr. Hendrick's side of the story. Now, it's time for Mrs. Hendrick to share her perspective.
Had started a bonfire and everything. One of his friends that he'd hung out with and worked with came over. While we were hanging out, we were drinking whiskey, and I had ended up kissing him. And I immediately called him and asked him to come and get me. And I told him what happened, and he said, "Where are you?" I told him. He came, and he ended up leaving without me. And I remember up to that point, and then after that, I don't. I mean, I don't remember because I kept drinking.
She remembers kissing him in the kitchen, though.
I do.
She claims she doesn't remember everything that happened that night. But what are the odds that she would end up pregnant right at that particular time? She explains how it could have happened, shedding more light on the situation.
Doubting it right off the bat.
Why?
Because we went through extensive fertility medicine to have our 4-year-old daughter. Tried for 5 years. Unprotected sex. No, nothing. So 4 years after we have our first daughter, she winds up pregnant just out of the blue after our little issues and after she goes and starts visiting and hanging out.
After a series of back and forth arguments, we dig deeper into their past. Before Mrs. Hendrick gave birth, the couple even paid for a 4D ultrasound of the baby, hoping to compare the child's features to Mr. Hendrick's. Clearly, this issue had been weighing on him for a while.
I don't find that fair whenever he's bringing up the treatments I went through, because I was 170 pounds more, and the doctor even told you if I'd lose weight, it'd be a lot easier for me to get pregnant.
But you didn't for 4 years. And then you have the surgery.
It's
you
not
go
like
you go on a little party
it's
rant.
straightforward, so.
You start hanging out with another guy, and then all of a sudden you wind up pregnant. You don't find that funny at all.
And now, the moment of truth. After all the drama, accusations, and uncertainty, the results are finally in.
Don't see a blob, that's a baby.
Well, you can see the nose and eyes, but it was too early. It was kind of a waste of money.
But your point is that you were that worried about it.
Oh, I was very concerned. I wanted to know right then.
I mean, we fought over this. We fought over these pictures so much because he's like, I don't think he looks like me. I said, how do you figure?
You know it's bad when you evaluating a baby in the...
This is how the case concludes.
Mr. Hendricks, you are the father.
I told you had no reason. You didn't need to doubt me.
Miss Hendricks, he did. And there was reason
It was
to doubt.
there. I'm sorry.
We got the answer.
Once again, we have a case involving a husband and wife. Mr. and Mrs. Kiesel are married, and Mrs. Kiesel is currently pregnant. Mr. Kiesel has come to court hoping to save their marriage and prove that the baby is his.
You say it breaks your heart to stand in court to prove that your husband is not your unborn child's father, but you know the truth. Another man is.
For Mr. Kiesel, today's results are crucial because his marriage is hanging by a thread. The reason? Mrs. Kiesel cheated on him just 1 month into their marriage, which has led them to this courtroom battle.
Heartbreak and lots of issues for us.
So you're supposed to still be in the honeymoon, newlywed phase. And instead of that, you have a paternity issue.
1 month? That's barely enough time to settle into married life. Mrs. Kiesel explained how this entire situation has affected not just their marriage, but also her pregnancy. The stress and uncertainty have taken a toll on both.
It has affected me in a huge way, not only just our marriage, but my pregnancy as well, because it's hard for me to necessarily, yes, I'm excited for it, but it makes it harder when there's so much stress put into the pregnancy. Rather than being everybody together, having a good time for like a baby shower, say we were supposed to have a baby shower.
Both of them. Although she admits to making mistakes and takes responsibility for them, she says the situation has robbed her of the joy of pregnancy. Instead of experiencing the excitement of becoming a mother, she's filled with anxiety and guilt.
I need to ask you this. What in the world would possess you to cheat on your husband 1 month?
That's the big question. Cheating after just 1 month of marriage raises doubts about the commitment in the first place. Mrs. Kiesel claims that she wasn't fully over her ex, which only adds another layer of drama to the case.
Really rushed into a relationship. We had been dating on and off, but it was back and forth with my ex and him. We both have broke up a couple of times over while we were dating. And then when we got married, it just was kind of like a let's go do this kind of thing. It was like, let's do it today. So we did, and I just feel like we might have got married a little too young. Not necessarily young, but quick.
As if the situation wasn't complicated enough, the couple had been desperately trying for a baby. They were so eager that they took pregnancy tests almost every week. It must have been devastating for Mr. Kiesel to find out about her infidelity after all their efforts to start a family.
And at first I was really, happy and excited. And then just a couple seconds later, it hit me that I'm about to have to tell him something, no husband wants to hear.
So you found out you were pregnant first, and then you knew you had to tell your husband.
Yes.
Because you knew there was a possibility this other man could also be, your ex could be the child's biological father.
Now, shifting the focus back to Mr. Kiesel, he shares his side of the story. His heartbreak is evident. Add to the drama, Mrs. Kiesel brings up her conception window, the estimated time frame when the baby was conceived, which is critical in determining the biological father.
So we have been taking a test once a week, and I happened to take one, and it was positive. And at first I was really, happy and excited, and then just a couple seconds later, it hit me that I'm about to have to tell him something, no husband wants to hear.
So you found out you were pregnant first, and then you knew you had to tell your husband.
Yes.
This only deepens the uncertainty. The timeline is uncomfortably close, making it even harder to determine whether Mr. Kiesel or the other man is the father. The doubt is overwhelming.
And now, Mr. Kiesel, when were you intimate with your wife?
We were intimate on the 8th.
You were?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so that's gonna be a K for Mr. Kiesel. I gotta ask you this, Ms. Kiesel, when were you intimate with your ex? Which day?
The 7th and the 9th.
To make things even worse, Mrs. Kiesel admits she doesn't remember being intimate with her husband during their time on the yacht. However, she recalls vivid details about her time with her ex. That contrast speaks volumes, and once again, all eyes are on her.
Do you remember being intimate with your husband on March 8th?
I honestly don't remember, Your Honor.
And so the truth is, you don't even remember being intimate with your husband on March the 8th, but you do remember sleeping with your ex on the 7th and the 9th. When were you intimate with your wife?
We were intimate on the 8th.
Despite everything, Mr. Kiesel chooses to have faith. When Judge Lake asks why, he insists that the unborn baby shares features with him. He points out similarities from the nose shape to the upper lip, holding on to hope that the baby is his.
You believe, despite these dates being so close in proximity, that you are the child's father.
Mrs. Kiesel then states that she hopes Mr. Kiesel is the father and wants their marriage to work. But coming from someone who cheated just a month into the marriage, that's quite an unexpected statement. Can their relationship truly recover from this?
And how does it make you feel that your wife is saying, I don't think you are the father?
That hurts extremely bad, seeing that I'm there. Instead of it just being, you might not be the father, she's saying she thinks I'm not. And that dampens the mood between us.
Finally, the moment of truth arrives. Since the baby hasn't been born yet, a prenatal DNA test was conducted. The court is now ready to reveal the results. Results that will determine not only the child's paternity, but also the fate of this marriage.
Mr. Kiesel, you are the father. I know that has to feel good.
A little bit.
How's it feel, sir?
Amazing.
I'm so happy for you. And I know those are tears of joy. And I can imagine you have cried the other kinds of tears.
Miss Adams was in a relationship for 13 years. However, after their breakup, she moved on and got involved with another man just 2 months later. What makes this case even more interesting is that during this period, she was not intimate with her ex.
Had separated. When we separated, I was kind of going through my vulnerable stage and things like that. I had went out actually one day, to the bar, and that's when I had met Markeith. And when I met Markeith, that's when we started, having dealings with each other and things like that.
All right, so you were in a long-standing relationship.
Yes.
And then you broke up.
Yes.
And here we go again, the age-old argument of resemblance. If I had a penny for every time paternity was debated simply because a baby looked like this supposed father's childhood pictures, I'd be rich.
I had the babies, the pictures went out on the internet, and that's when my ex-mother called me and said that those are my grandbabies. They look just like my son.
And so once she said that, had you been thinking of that in the back of your mind all this time? Never.
Never. I was starting to hear it so much, and I was getting so many phone calls from my ex side of the family and everything about the boy.
Some people use special holidays as an excuse to reach out to an ex. Miss Adams, however, took things to another level. She planned to use twin babies to reconnect with her former partner. That's quite a strategy.
It's like, well, I never thought that Marquis was not the father, but then, she was just telling me, oh, Christian, put two and two together, just think about it. It don't make sense. You already had the babies early, so you could have been already pregnant when you was messing with Mr. Spencer. She was just, saying things like that and stuff. So then I started saying, well, you know what, you never know. And I was also just going off of emotion and knowing I was still in love.
It turns out there were other people involved on both sides. Since Miss Adams and her ex were no longer in a committed relationship, the possibility of multiple partners makes things even more complicated.
After I had the babies, Marquis was around for the first month. Throughout that whole month, it was like so much drama with his ex, so much drama with him. It was like...
And here's where things get even messier. Miss Adams lied to both Mr. Spencer and her ex about DNA test results that never even existed. The length some people will go to in order to get back with an ex they still love is truly astonishing.
Those babies are mine. Is that true? I said that I knew that they was Marquis. I said, but to this point, you just never know. Just come back, because I want you to come back regardless, and we could just start over. And once that happened, he said, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and come back. Once he came back, without a shadow of a doubt, I didn't even want to deal with Marquis at all.
All right, so once your ex came back, you were done with Mr. Spencer because you really wanted to be with your ex.
Yes.
Her ex must have been completely shocked when the truth came to light. But today, the courtroom has another important guest, Mitchell, the ex's mother and a possible grandmother to the twins.
And I seen pictures of her tagging Mitchell's mom as her grandkids. And you telling me this whole time these was my kids.
And what did she say?
She was like, oh, I ain't tell them that. Mitchell just automatically assumed these was his kids. She told me that, you know, like he automatically came back and was like, oh, them my kids, I'm gonna be taking care of them kids.
After all the drama, emotions, and back and forth arguments, the moment of truth has finally arrived. This time, because the babies are fraternal twins, there's a real chance they could have different fathers.
That they was born, Kristen's mom called me. So she said by now, look, take a look at the babies. Look at these pictures, something ain't right. So she sent me the pictures. So I'm like, oh my God. So I went looking for some of Mitchell's baby pictures and I started sending them through the family. And the family's like, oh my God, these Mitchell's babies. So as I talked to Kristen, are you sure?
Now, the results for baby Cameron are about to be revealed. This is a defining moment, and you can feel the tension in the air. Everyone is waiting, holding their breath, hoping for the outcome they desire.
Is the father of 1-year-old Kamariana Adams Spencer. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Spencer.
Oh boy. Miss Adams is definitely not going to be happy about this one. The emotions in the courtroom are running high as the truth unfolds. With so many lies, suspicions, and conflicting stories, reality is finally hitting hard.
Marion Adams Spencer. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Spencer.
But with all that has happened, the bigger question remains, what does the future hold for these twins, their mother, and the two men caught up in this whirlwind of paternity drama?
Mr. Spencer, you are the biological father. What are you feeling in this moment?
Like if she knew like them was my kids all this time, like you should never not allow me to build that relationship with them.
I will say that we have to count our blessings, and the children are only 13 months. And you do have the time and the opportunity to establish a bond with them and to be there for them.
Miss Short is a teenage girl with a 21-month-old son. Her mother has taken legal action on her behalf to prove that Mr. Johnson is the father of baby Jabari. However, Mr. Johnson completely denies paternity, which has led us to this courtroom battle.
Johnson, you are in court with your mother and say you might have been the plaintiff's first love, but you weren't the only one. You refused to do anything for her son until the DNA results prove you are his biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Interestingly, there's a love story buried within this case. Miss Short got pregnant by her first love, but the drama doesn't stop there. There's another man in the picture, which adds even more complexity.
Short, you say you need help.
Yes.
Explain.
Yes, because he's the father of my son, and my son, as a boy, need a father figure. And I need extra help, like while I'm in school.
We got to do this for Jabari. Stop. She just need to know, is he the father? So he can step up and do the right thing, hopefully.
Emotions run high as Miss Short's mother steps in to explain her reasoning for keeping Mr. Johnson away from their home. She deliberately stopped him from visiting because she didn't want them to develop feelings for each other.
How did you meet?
Well, it was on Facebook, and we used to text. He was my first kiss, first everything.
Okay, so after you met, you all started having sex, and at some point, you find out you're pregnant.
Yes. Me and Mr. Johnson had sex April 23rd.
What a complicated situation. Since baby Jabari is now 21 months old, all of this drama took place nearly 2 years ago. Miss Short continues sharing her side of the story, and it's clear there's still much to uncover.
Seen him on Facebook with another female, and he was like, I don't want you, I want her. He was talking about the other female. And I was like, he just left. He just left me. After that happened, it was May 3rd. I went out to eat with some friends. Okay. That night, I had met the other boy, and this is not my first time meeting him, but this is the first time we ever had sex.
Now, we finally get to hear about the mysterious other man involved. Apparently, Miss Short had a brief affair with him to get back at Mr. Johnson for leaving her after she found out she was pregnant. She even informed this other man, Mr. X, that there was a possibility he could be the father.
Did you realize Miss Short was even pregnant?
See, Your Honor, I was away. I found out she was pregnant 6 months into her pregnancy.
Okay. And were you informed that you were the biological father?
Yes, ma'am. She told my mom that she was pregnant and I could be the father. So at the time, I'm thinking that the baby's mine.
With all eyes now on Mr. Johnson, we learn that he only found out about the pregnancy much later. At first, he was ready to step up and take responsibility for the child. But then, things took a turn when Miss Short's friends informed him about Mr. X.
You know how they making me feel. I was there to see the baby conceive. I was the one that had the baby. I was there. When she called me and asked me for stuff, I was there to help her. I was there. Her own mother was not in the hospital room with her when she had her baby.
I sure wasn't, because I wasn't happy about the situation.
Well, it don't matter.
It does matter. You just full of it.
You
full of
too.
it, honey.
Ladies,
You very
Okay, to the moms, hold on. Let
I
this
hope
young
he's
man,
not the dad.
Let this young man talk.
This revelation only fueled Mr. Johnson's doubts. While he insists that he is willing to be there for the baby if he is indeed the father, he simply has too many unanswered questions at this moment.
He may not be the child's father?
Your Honor, it was an ex-friend. I thought she was my friend. She was like, because I was like, it was a possibility. So I was like, I'm scared to let the moms know. She was like, you need to let them know so it won't be any confusions when the baby get here. After that, I called her and I said, it's a possibility that Mr. Johnson can be the father of my son.
One major point of contention in this case is the lack of support from Mr. Johnson's family. According to Miss Short's mother, the only contribution they have ever made was when Mr. Johnson's mother brought 2 boxes of diapers to the baby shower.
It's been a struggle. Let me tell you. I've been raising him. I've been doing the best I can. It's very, very expensive. I guess he have babies for trophies. He don't pay child support for none of his kids.
And I didn't go for child
None
support.
of them.
So if this has been very difficult on you to have to raise the child without any financial support from a father.
Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Miss Short's mother actively worked to prevent Mr. Johnson from seeing her daughter. It's no secret at this point that she does not approve of him. But that's not all. She even went as far as threatening to call the police on him if he ever came over again.
All I want to say is I just want to know the truth. For if he is mine, I will be there for him. And I just don't want to be in the mix of this is that, that's that. I don't want to be in the midst of that. I just want to know the truth. That's all I want to know.
So he's almost 2 now. Who's been his father?
My mom, my dad, my sister, and my family. It's just been my family.
Despite everything, Mr. Johnson stands firm in his position. He states that he has no problem stepping up as a father. He needs to be sure the child is his first. His response seems fair, given the uncertainty surrounding the baby's paternity.
I have done my best to be patient. I have been frustrated. I have been trying to be compassionate because you all are young people, and now you've gotten yourself into this whole big drama with adult situations and adult problems. You can't even string 2 good sentences together in this courtroom about the situation.
At this point, Judge Lake voices what everyone in the courtroom is already thinking. This case involves a teenage mother and a 20-year-old father fighting over the paternity of a 21-month-old baby.
Johnson, you say you got more than 1 child. How many children do you have?
I have 4. With Jabari, I have 5 in all.
So you got 4 other children.
Yes, ma'am.
And Jabari would make 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I
And you're 20 years old?
All these are not his kids, you want. They're not his. They're not his. I wish they can do blood tests too, but they don't want to.
Judge Lake isn't finished just yet. She continues pressing for answers. The courtroom grows tense as deeper questions are raised about when all of this began and how things got so out of hand so quickly.
Be the father means that you admittedly slept with these women without protection, because if you use protection, you would know that's not me. Right. And so that goes back to my point of you all are young people, potentially 5 children at 20 years old. That's unacceptable. You all aren't dating anymore, are you?
No, Your Honor.
Finally, the moment everyone has been waiting for arrives. The paternity results are in.
Johnson, you are the father. I'm glad you will.
This all I want to know to get all the other extra stuff out the way.
You have to.
It shouldn't have took this.
But no, Miss Short, this happens in life. It should not have taken this.
Lorraine and her mother, Miss Gant, are in court today to prove that Mr. Fritz Booker is Lorraine's biological father. 34-year-old Lorraine begins by sharing how her childhood was filled with pain and bullying. As the case unfolds, it becomes clear why this
Just a good man who's getting taken advantage of. You claim the plaintiffs know you have a good heart and a heavy wallet, and you cannot give any more money to a child who does not belong to you. Is that
That's correct, Your Honor, yes.
conversation is happening after 34 long years, and the truth isn't pretty. There seems to be a financial motive driving both sides, making the entire situation even more complicated.
It's about money, Your Honor. He told me that he'll write me out his will if he even found out that I was his daughter or not.
Wait, but all of these years, you believe this man was your biological father?
Yes, I did. I mean, he helped my mom raise me up until now. Now, all of a sudden, you know, it's like I'm not his kid.
Mr. Booker has a lot to say about this case, and his perspective sheds more light on the situation. He openly states that despite raising Lorraine as his child, he has never truly believed she was his biological daughter.
So, Mr. Booker, is it about the will?
Part of it is, yes.
It is?
Yes.
And do you also agree that she's 34 years old, and you know that it was her understanding that you're her biological father?
Your Honor, I raised Lorraine and my other daughter, Rashida, mainly by myself the last part of their lives. Miss Gant was nowhere in the picture. Now, as far as the will is concerned, yes, if Lorraine is not my biological daughter.
Miss Gant denies every accusation that she was involved with another man. She insists that she told Mr. Booker years ago that Lorraine wasn't his, but only as a way to punish him. She knew the idea of raising a child that might not be his would bother him, and she admits to using that against him.
Your Honor, we had a relationship. We lived together. I came home from work one day during a lunch break. I saw a guy come out of my apartment building.
That's not true.
Running, you know, fastening his pants up. I get upstairs. I say to Miss Gant, I said, who was that came out of our apartment? She says, oh, that was from the lady from next door, and that wasn't from the lady next door. The following month, Miss Gant became pregnant.
After their breakup, Mr. Booker took physical custody of Lorraine, which led to Miss Gant having to pay him child support. This is where the financial aspect of their case truly began. While Lorraine thought she was simply living with her father, she had no idea that money was such a big factor in their arrangement.
You say that, Miss Gant?
Yes, ma'am. You know how to push buttons. He had pushed some buttons on me, and I turned around and pushed buttons on him because I knew if I said something about his daughter, that would make him mad. He is get child support on me. He sold my house for back child support and made me homeless.
Lorraine reveals another painful detail. She was constantly reminded that she wasn't the favorite child. Mr. Booker repeatedly told her that his other daughter was his favorite, dismissing it as something every parent does.
When I was in high school, I was pregnant. I got pregnant at 16, and I didn't know how to tell him that. He told me and my sister Rashida that if we was to ever get pregnant, that we was grown and we would have to move out. So when I told him that I was pregnant, he was like, well, you know, I don't really think you're my daughter anyway.
Now, after years of unanswered questions and emotional turmoil, the moment of truth has arrived. The DNA test results will finally determine whether Mr. Booker is truly Lorraine's father or if decades of doubt were justified.
What I understand is she felt left out all of these years. She felt like she was not your favorite. You are now validating that feeling that she was not your favorite. Do you believe this choice that Rashida or your other daughter was your favorite was rooted not just in the fact that she was your firstborn, but that you believe that she was your true biological child and you believe Ms. Booker was not?
With everyone on edge, the court prepares to reveal the final verdict.
Mr. Booker, you are the father.
Yeah! Woo! Yes! I told you! 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 I told you!
I apologize. I'm sorry. I love you. Come here to me.
Thank you, Jehovah. Thank you.
Miss Crow is in court today to establish the paternity of her 2-year-old son, Thomas. Potential father, J.C. Turner, is deceased, and in his place stands his mother, Mrs. Reinhardt. Miss Crow is determined for her son to at least know who his father was.
You say Miss Crow used your son for money when he was alive, and now it's trying to claim him as her son's father only to get death benefits. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Crow, are you doing this just for the money?
It is more than just the money. I would like help with my son, yes, of course, but my son cannot grow up and meet his father.
Baby Thomas currently has no knowledge of his father, apart from the few times Miss Crow spoke to the late J.C. Turner over the phone. When asked about her doubts, Mrs. Reinhardt had a lot to say about her close relationship with her son.
The time frame she said she was, when she told me she was pregnant, it didn't happen that way. There's no way she could have
been just 2 weeks pregnant and had a stomach firm as she did.
You're saying she couldn't have a stomach as firm?
I mean, after 2 weeks, you don't have a stomach as firm as that.
And so she had just met your son? You were meeting her for the first time?
She confidently stated that J.C. Turner told her everything, even things he wouldn't share with anyone else. According to her, they had a tight bond.
My son and I had a very tight relationship, and Jay would tell me everything when nobody else was around. I knew my son inside and out, and I just don't, as a mother, as a grandmother, having 4 babies of my own, my gut tells me this is not my grandson. I do not see my son in that.
Miss Crow then shared more details about her relationship with J.C. Turner and how they met. She painted a picture of a young couple who were happy together.
Talk to me about the relationship.
When I first met Jay, we were at a skate park. I noticed him in the parking lot and I called him over to me and we had a conversation. From that conversation, we ended up walking to the store. We had, became inseparable. We, developed, feelings, and it did happen all too fast. He did ask me to be his girlfriend, and we did have unprotected sex.
He fully accepted the idea of having a child. Mrs. Reinhardt, however, countered this by saying her son simply lacked the ability to discern.
He never denied my son, and if he was here today, we wouldn't have to be here because he would willingly do so. He never said anything rude or disrespectful to me. He was nice to me. He was very accepting. He knew this was his child. We were together every day.
He'd have believed you if you told him the sky was purple.
Well, that's your own opinion. That's your own opinion.
The mental capacity of a 16-year-old.
Then came the classic argument. Thomas does not resemble J.C. Turner's baby pictures. Mrs. Reinhardt strongly held on to this belief.
Got a baby picture. If I take that baby picture, I could put it up against my daughter. I could even put it up against my 18-year-old granddaughter. I could put it up against Jay's brother. I could put it up against Jay's baby picture, okay? And we all look like quadruplets.
I have strong genes.
So, Ms. Crow, you say your genes are strong as well. Do you see a resemblance to his dad?
After J.C. Turner and Miss Crow broke up, they went their separate ways. During this period, J.C. Turner was in Miss Crow's care, but she claimed she still tried reaching out to his...
Thomas was born. Did J.C. accept the baby as his own?
He told everybody that we would come across, friends, even people we didn't know he had conversations with. She's pregnant with my baby. He's really happy. He's excited. He never denied my child. And I knew for a fact that, he's the father.
Sadly, J.C. Turner passed away the same week Thomas turned 1. The last time he saw baby Thomas was when the child was just 3 months old. After that, they lost all contact.
All I know is I saw a picture on Facebook of another man that
my
she was
boyfriend.
with.
That's not his father. He was Jamaican. Does he look half Jamaican? And, I lost my father the same year my son lost his father. So there's no reason why I would be up here for no reason. I'm doing this for my son. My son has the right to know, and Jay has, health issues.
Mrs. Reinhardt, however, had a different version of events, one that didn't quite align with Miss Crow's. The discrepancies in their stories made the courtroom even more tense.
I didn't have a phone number. He didn't have no way to contact me. I didn't even know he was still here until I'm scrolling down my newsfeed on Facebook and I see a mutual friend of ours post, "Rest in peace, Jay," with his picture. And I contacted this person like, what's going on? And they tell me, so I want to make sure it's true. I call the coroner's office. Is it true you have J.C. Turner there? Yes, it is.
Judge Lake then questioned Miss Crow's intentions. If she was so determined to prove J.C. Turner was the father, why did she allow such a long gap, 9 months, before making a serious effort to reconnect?
His family's at, because he don't have family out here like that.
I told her he passed away.
And
she called
to the coroner's office. They said they haven't even talked to her.
Behind my back to get a sample of his DNA, Your Honor.
Oh, no, ma'am.
She didn't even have the decency to bring it to me.
I called her and asked her. She denied it. That's why we're here today.
At this point, the situation became even more complicated. The question of paternity seemed to be blending with discussions about potential death benefits. Was Miss Crow fighting for Thomas's right to know his father, or was she after financial gain?
I lost my father on the 3rd month of that year, and the father of my son the 7th month of that year. I was going through stuff my own self. I have a 7-year-old daughter, I have a 4-year-old daughter. Got to make sure my daughter goes to school, got to make sure there's food on the table. I have to make sure of all of these things, and I didn't even have have a job at the time, but my kids were taken care of. I took care of my kids.
I guess the question then becomes...
Adding to the drama, it was revealed that Mrs. Reinhardt had never even seen baby Thomas before, despite all her strong claims.
How do you lose track of your child's biological father?
How do you not attend somebody's memorial when they're given a memorial of their death because your daughter has school the next day and you can't get a babysitter?
No,
You
that was
can't
what
try-
you guys did.
No,
I went to the
thought
skate
True-
park where I met
thought
him.
Finally, the long-awaited DNA test results were ready to be revealed. Since there was no blood card available from the late J.C. Turner.
For 2 hours with his best
I
friend.
didn't want to go and be around you. You see how you act?
So you're saying, Ms. Crow, you purposely did not go to the memorial service because you didn't want to have an encounter, a negative encounter or altercation?
Right, because I'm already upset. Everybody's upset and nobody needs that extra drama.
As the courtroom held its breath, the results proved that Mrs. Reinhardt's gut feeling was wrong after all. The truth was finally out. Thomas was in fact J.C. Turner's son.
Relatedness between Ms. Reinhardt and Thomas Crow is 99.6% you are related. That is your grandchild. Ms. Reinhardt, you have never laid eyes on your grandchild.